Sports 56 Middays is delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx can help your business thrive online. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Labor Day to you. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays. We're all new today. We're all live today. Yes, we are working the holiday, and hopefully you'll be able to tune in. If not for the entire show, at least parts of the show as you kick back and relax. Most of you with the day off, but some of you, like ourselves, working today. But we want to wish everybody certainly a happy holiday. It's the Monday, September 7th, 2020 edition of the program. Hope you had a great weekend. It was the first big sports weekend that we've had since, late February, early March? And there was a lot going on, a lot to talk about on the program today, and that's always a good thing. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, and that is FedEx. And FedEx wants to make sure that you realize, with COVID-19 changing the world and really everybody's way of life, rest assured that FedEx is still here, open and ready to deliver for you. You can learn more at FedEx.com/coronavirus. As you heard Mr. Announcer Man say as well, hour number one is brought to you by Action247.com, and we are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. A big shout out to all our terrific sponsors. Coming up on the program today, we'll look back at the weekend, including the Memphis Tigers' opening college football victory of the year as they knocked off Arkansas State by the score of 37-24 on Saturday at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Were you one of the fortunate few to be at the game? If you were, we want to hear from you, and we're going to get to your calls early, 360-8255. If you'd like to text in your experience, tell us about it, you can do so via the First Bank text line at 67129. We'll talk plenty of college football with our friend Barrett Salee. He'll join us at 11:05. He joins us every Monday. College football writer for CBS Sports, does TV for CBS Sports HQ and XM College Radio. Also on the program today, of course, we do it every day, is our 5 favorite songs. Today's topic is Away. Away. Make sure Away's in the title of your song. You can text in the list right now if you'd like via the First Bank text line at 67129. If you are watching us live, you can message us at Sports 56 WHBQ with those lists on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. The NBA playoffs roll along. Some surprises early in the conference semifinals that we'll discuss. The Kentucky Derby has an upset winner. We had an upset Novak Djokovic at the U.S. Open. He's now gone. NFL cut day was Saturday, and some surprising moves and some other announcements on starting quarterbacks have been made. We got Major League Baseball to talk about, including the passing of a legend. Eli, I hope you had a nice weekend. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Great weekend. Really enjoyed myself. Great weather. Good stuff going on. Fun to watch some football. We had the Christian Brothers MUS game Friday night. College football, going out to the Tiger game. Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, it was good to get back to work. As you just mentioned, Friday night we got to do. Now, you're doing the Christian Brothers games on radio normally, and Peter Edmiston slid in for you, and you joined me in the television broadcast, and it was really, really good. And we thank everybody who helped get that on the air, especially the sponsors. So that was fun on Friday night. We saw Dallin Hayden run for another 10,000 yards and 400 touchdowns. He was fantastic in the 28-7 win. But then Saturday, getting to work the sidelines for Memphis and Arkansas State, which was pretty surreal until they kicked off. And, once they started to play football, it was business as usual. But for the fans, again, limited in the stands, spaced out 12 feet apart from their groups, wearing the masks, just looking around the stadium, that was a strange thing. I mean, I got the eerie feelings and the flashbacks to the days of when it wasn't so good for Memphis football, and there was about that many people in the stands normally without any type of pandemic. So it wasn't good to see, but it was good to see that there were some fans in the stadium, and it was great to see that there was football.
Yeah, it was. It's just nice to see some live sporting events and be able to be there for them. And yeah, it was. It was. We will get into the whole situation as far as the fans are concerned. I don't. It's beyond belief to me. Now that I've actually witnessed it in person, that's the number they're going with. But yeah, it was good to see the Tigers in action again, and good to see the Tigers get a win.
And again, if you want to share your experience, if you happen to be off from work today, listening to the show, driving around, you can call in at 360-8255, First Bank phone line. Also, the First Bank text line. You can always hit us up via the First Bank text line at 67129. Talk about your experience on Saturday. We're going to dive into that in just a second. I failed to mention also, as I previewed the things we'll be talking about, the Tour Championship, which wraps up technically the 2020 PGA Tour season. The FedEx Cup will be handed out today. It's the final round from Eastlake in Atlanta, and Dustin Johnson has a commanding lead. And I also bring that up to just once again emphasize the importance of our great title and presenting sponsor, and that's FedEx, involved with the FedEx Cup, obviously the title sponsor. Also, FedEx involved with the Denny Hamlin racing team, and there was NASCAR yesterday as their chase for the title is underway as well. Just great to be able to talk about a variety of sporting events that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, when we throw in the weird September Labor Day weekend Kentucky Derby into the mix of starting kind of college football, even though there were obviously a limited number of games. You got baseball going on. Throw in that Tour Championship. Yeah, there were plenty of things happening this weekend, and now this coming weekend, obviously we will throw the NFL into the mix, and we get that starting on Thursday night. So that's going to be another more fun to watch something else going on.
Yeah, how backwards are things in the world of sports? As I mentioned, the 2020 season basically ends today, and next week, I think it's the Safeway, starts the new golf season, but in 2 weeks, it's still the U.S. Open from this year, and then the Masters in November. And then with the Kentucky Derby, it was the second race of the Triple Crown Series, with the Belmont already taking place, the Preakness still to come. And then just everything is backwards, but at least we're starting to see sports. People are starting to get out there, even though it's small crowds, as you will address in just a few moments. But at least some people are getting out there. NASCAR had some people out there as well. Now, they didn't at the Kentucky Derby. They don't at the Tour Championship, other than wives and girlfriends and a few other people. So it's still very, very minute as far as the numbers are concerned. Also, and I'm not sure if we'll hear anything today because it is Labor Day. It's a holiday. But the TSSAA, with in conjunction with all the different counties' health departments, we'll see what happens with public schools playing football. That includes our good buddy here, Gabe Kuhn, who's an assistant coach with Germantown High School. Will they be able to start to crank up and play games? Gosh, Christian Brothers High School has already played 3 games, and they got their 4th game coming up this week against Bartlett. So, Gabe, I don't know if we'll hear anything today, but if not, we're going to hear something probably tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, they said they would reconvene after Labor Day. I didn't know if that meant right on Labor Day or probably tomorrow, but we will see what the decision is.
And then, of course, tonight wraps up the first week of college football, albeit a limited amount of games. But tonight we will have BYU and Navy. Of course, Navy from the American Conference. There was a lot of rumors, too, yesterday, Eli, and I guess we'll hear something today, and maybe Barrett Salee will have more on that. But the rumors were swirling yesterday that there's going to be a big announcement out of Hattiesburg that Jay Hobson's going to lose his job after 1 game. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
Yes. I mean, it was like all over the place yesterday. I think Richard Cross talked about it as well. Nothing happened to this point this morning as far as I know. And didn't we go into the season saying this is the one year where I think even a winless coach will probably not lose his job? And it's rumor right now until it comes to fruition. But Jay Hobson, with Southern Miss losing that first game to South Alabama, could be out according to reports. But let's get back to the game here in Memphis, the Tigers and Arkansas State. And Arkansas State put up a good fight as we expected them to do. Early on, I think Mike McIntyre's new defense had trouble with the speed of Arkansas State. And I think late in the game they had a little bit of trouble with the speed of Arkansas State. So that's something to put in the back of your mind for down the road when they play teams that like to play with pace, but certainly Arkansas State, one of the faster teams in the country. And I think in between, the defense really did a good job. They got 3 takeaways. So just that early part of the game and late in the game when the game was pretty much on ice. As far as the offense is concerned for Memphis, the question going in, who would have replaced Kenneth Gainwell? We knew it wasn't going to be one guy. And I thought they did a pretty admirable job. Rodriguez-Clark went for 105 yards and a touchdown on 20 carries. Kylan Watkins, 52 on 14 carries, also caught a couple of balls. We saw a few other running backs like Asa Martin play in that game. But Brady White, 26 of 36, 275, 4 touchdown passes and a pick. And I don't even think Brady White was great. I mean, I think he made some mistakes. He threw behind a few receivers and tried to force a couple. But still, Brady White at maybe 75%. Throws 4 touchdown passes. And welcome back Sean Dykes with 10 catches for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's another weapon for Brady. DeMonte Coxey, 8 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. So all in all, good, solid win for the Tigers by 13 over a very talented Arkansas State team.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, again, with the kind of lack of preparation time compared to normal, when you lose Kenneth Gainwell 6 days before the first game, you could expect there might be a little sloppiness in game 1, and there was that. But yeah, I thought overall pretty good performance, and really good to see the way they were able to get Dykes involved in the offense. Clark looked good running the ball. You see, like you don't have that kind of versatility that Gainwell and Antonio Gibson gave you, and that as much. But Clark certainly looked good running the ball. We know Coxey's going to have a big year and was able to continue to get open. And yeah, White looked good, if not great. But the defense, after the early struggles, kind of settled down, it looked like, and played pretty well for the rest of the game. So yeah, I thought overall it was a good performance for an opening week. Again, that is very strange, and the preparation for it was very strange.
Blake Anderson went with the 2 quarterbacks, rotating Bonner and Hatcher as we expected. So for both these teams, they will, I'm sure, improve for game 2 for each of their respective seasons. Ryan Silverfield talked in the postgame about now trying to learn from the mistakes, go over the tape, see what was good, see what wasn't good, and also heal up a few of the walking wounded. And there were a couple of players that were held out because of the COVID-19 tracing. There was the Broussard situation, which there was a release from the University of Memphis. There wasn't much said about it, but Broussard was involved in an altercation where he was shot. Not a significant injury, and I'm not sure if it's a flesh wound or whatever they're looking at, but Broussard is with the team. Coxey was, according to reports, a witness, and he played in the game, as we talked about, and played admirably. Look, there were some things. Obviously, the speed of the Arkansas State offense that I mentioned, they had a little bit of trouble with. Their stud Lou Groza candidate kicker Riley Patterson missed an extra point, did not even look good on a 50-yarder that he attempted. And last year he was knocking 50-yarders through the uprights like it was nothing. So it wasn't a great game for him. There were a few other things that I thought they could. The penalties on the one drive for Arkansas State, which was 5 big penalties, 2 15-yarders, that you can't have that. And Ryan Silverfield knows. So that's something where I think they lost their cool at times. There was also a couple questionable calls, something with the clock that was a miss. But overall, that was just a bad series on defense. But again, overall, you get the win. You hope to see the improvement. You're not playing this week because Purdue and the Big Ten's not playing football. So you'll have 2 weeks to prep for Houston, a week from this Friday night at Liberty Bowl Stadium, and that will be Houston's first game. So Memphis will have a leg up, having had that one game under their belt.
Yeah, it's, having a bye week after your first week, the first time to really see the team in live action is probably a pretty good thing in this year with the lack of preparation. Now you can kind of go back and figure some things out. So yeah, It'd be great if they were playing, but in a lot of ways, it probably works out very well for them to have the off week coming up this week.
Again, a lot of you I know are off today and kicking back and relaxing, but if you happen to be in your car, you happen to be at home listening, or even at work sneaking in and listening to the program, if you had the chance to go to the game, and again, a very limited amount of people that were there, love to hear about your experience. 360-8255, First Bank phone line, First Bank text line, 67129. Before we get your thoughts, Eli, on the crowd and the numbers that were there and allowed to be there, I want to hit up Gabe Kuhn and get his evaluation of how he thought the team looked, especially from the offensive line standpoint.
Not as bad as I thought. It was a question, and I thought they answered it to a certain extent pretty well. It looked like they were rotating a lot of bodies. It looked like Obina Eze did not get a whole bunch of playing time the way I thought he would. Titus Jones rotated in there at left tackle. Right guard, I thought it was going to be Evan Fields. It looked like he was out, and Matt Dale responded and had to be that guy. But outside of that, I thought they did pretty well. Rodriguez-Clark, you certainly didn't get to see the explosiveness of Kenny Gainwell in him, but you saw how good he was in between the tackles, how good he was at finding a crease and going, and how many he can take in any given game. He went 20 for 105, so that was good. The one thing that I would say definitely concerns me a tad bit is when you look at the receiving numbers. You had Sean Dykes and you had Coxie. Then outside of that, who's going to step up? I thought Taj Washington was a guy that could have. Calvin Austin is a guy who could have, but they didn't. So going forward, they're probably going to have to find more production out of that receiver room.
I brought that up late last week when we were talking about it, and I did say that about that next receiver, who's it going to be. Austin caught a touchdown pass, but he's a little guy. I don't think he's going to be a high-volume receptions type of guy. Taj Washington has to be that guy, and if you noticed, it seemed like when Brady White threw a bad pass, he only threw a few bad passes. They were intended for Taj Washington. So I don't know if we got a fair evaluation of Taj. It's interesting what you said about being easy, because I was getting texts from people that kept telling me, where's Easy? Well, why is he not in there? But every time I would look, because I'm doing my work on the sideline, he was in there. So I didn't notice that he was out for a lot.
It looked like Titus Jones, number 73, and him were going sort of splitting time there at left tackle.
Interesting. Eli, the crowd, again, 12 feet distance. It is what it is, but you think it should be more than what it is.
Well, I mean, okay, so when I first heard that the whole, basically 4,500 people in that stadium, I thought, okay, that seems way too low. But you know what? Maybe when you get out there and you actually see it, it will kind of make sense. But getting out there and seeing it makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. You cannot possibly tell me that you can't put minimum twice as many, have 10,000 in there, and you're still going to have plenty of distance between groups of people. I think you easily could get up to 15,000, which is 25% of that stadium. I mean, because the thing was, first of all, 12 feet separation while wearing masks is, to me, ridiculous overkill. Like, I don't know why you need to be 12 feet apart if you're wearing masks. And the thing is, the people don't think they need to be 12 feet apart. So what happened, and this was very predictable, and I don't blame the people at all, is that people, the higher up people, just moved down. And they moved closer to people. They weren't 12 feet apart. They were probably 6 feet apart because there was plenty of room to do that. So then the upper part of the stadium is basically completely empty. Like, there's not even anybody sitting up there. And behind the end zones, there were entire sections that had nobody in them, or like one or two people in them. Behind the one end zone, at one point in the middle of the second quarter, I think it was, there were 5 sections of seats that had a total of 5 people. There were 2 in one section, 2 in another, and 1 in a third, and the other 2 were completely empty. I mean, it's so ridiculous to try and say that you can only have 4,500 people in a 60,000 seat outdoor stadium for these games. It doesn't even make sense. Like, you just allow people to go to the game and put 10, 15,000 people in there, and it's going to be absolutely fine. And if there are people out there that think, oh, no, that's too many people, then they just won't go to the game, and that's fine. But other people can go to the game. And the school can actually make a little bit of money off of this thing. The city can actually make a little bit of money because they can actually sell some concessions as well. It's just the most ridiculous overkill thing. I don't understand the thought process behind it.
Well, I'm sure everybody had eyes on what was happening in that stadium, from the Shelby County Health Department to the mayor's office, Liberty Bowl officials, obviously school officials. Everybody saw probably the exact thing that you saw. So you wonder where they're coming from with the Shelby County Health Department and that decision to go 12 feet, because I hear what you're saying. I think for the most part, and again, I only looked into the first few areas of the lower bowl from my vantage on the field and saw people actually adhering to the mandates to wear masks. I can't tell you that people were haphazardly taking the masks off in other places around the stadium. I didn't get a good bird's eye view of that. But I hear what you're saying. But what I'm not privy to that information of what their thought process is. I'm sure they're calculating the numbers, which are still fairly high. But I think coming down, if I'm not mistaken, and making that decision of 12 feet. Can it change to 6? You think it should. A lot of people think it should. I don't know what it'll take, what data they need to change it. I don't know. But again, all eyes were on that game. It was also a nationally televised game, so people from the outside looking in saw what was going on with the University of Memphis, and I wonder what their thoughts were as well. Did they think, like you, that it's ridiculous to have this cavernous stadium that could seat up nearly 60,000, and you have a sparse crowd of 4,000 and change?
Yeah, I mean, and I had a lot of conversation on Twitter with various folks, and I 95 to 99% of the people agree with what I'm saying. I mean, and I joked about this, but it's like not that big of a joke. Like, I went to Lowe's Saturday morning, like 10 o'clock. Like, there's 30 people in an aisle at Lowe's, but you can't have more than, you have to have 12-foot separation at an outdoor venue at a football game.
I was at Kroger yesterday, and there were aisles where there were so many carts. We were just like looking at, like, are we at a four-way stop when the light's out, or whatever it is? Who gets the right of way here? There were so many people bunched up. So I understand what you're saying. Everybody was wearing masks and things like that, but certainly we were indoor as opposed to being outdoor in a stadium that large.
Yeah, I can't. It seemed weird at the time. Now, seeing it in person, I just cannot comprehend why anybody would possibly think that you have to have 12 feet between people. That one is beyond belief to me.
And
it just doesn't even, I can't understand what possible logic or what data they use to say 12 feet is the number while wearing masks, supposedly, or whatever, in an outdoor venue. I can't understand it.
And again, no game this week. They won't play again until a week from this Friday, and it will be a home game. So there is time to kind of evaluate everything. But will the evaluation simply be, hey, it worked out pretty darn well? Unless all of a sudden you hear about an outbreak or anything like that. But it worked out pretty well. Let's keep it that way. Or will it be, it worked out pretty well. Let's see what we can do if we add more fans. I just don't know if they go in that direction. Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. The owner's name is Brandon Holly. He is just a good guy, and he has great professionals that can take care of your lawn. They take care of mine. Let them take care of your lawn. LawnSolutionsInc.net is the website. The phone number is 901-867-5626. They'll kill the weeds, get you that green, plush, beautiful lawn. They'll control the germination of weeds all year long. Right now, they're applying post-emergence. And then during the winter months, even when the grass is dormant, they're applying pre-emergence. That will prevent the weeds from popping up in the spring. They can take care of any disease your lawn has or any insect infestation. It's Lawn Solutions for a beautiful, better lawn. LawnSolutionsInc.net and 901-867-5626. The number to call. Ask for Brandon. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. We'll continue talking college football, specifically Tigers and Arkansas State, but so much else to get into. We're just scratching the surface. This is Sports 56 Middays.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Fall is just around the corner. So are Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot. Like $5 off 1-gallon cans and $20 off 5-gallon buckets instantly on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains. Instant savings on appliances. Everything from mulch to power tools. With savings like these, what'll you do next? Tackle more fall projects with Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last, valid through September 9th. See store for details.
COVID-19 is still ravaging our community. People are still getting sick. Unfortunately, people are still dying. There's still a tremendous need for testing. There's a New Christ Community testing location. If you're an essential worker, have been exposed to someone, or just know you need a test, get it at 1720 RSK Commercial Cove. That's the former Lamar Auto Inspection Station. Text TEST 2020 to 91999 or call Christ Community at 842-3160 for an appointment.
It's Mattress Firm's Labor Day sale. Hurry in and save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $699 or more. And save up to 50% on select mattresses from our top-rated brands, like Sealy and more. Shop in-store, online, or by phone today. Don't wait. Only at Mattress Firm's Labor Day sale. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. Some products only available online. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx helps small businesses grow every day. This hour is also brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
'Cause I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner.
Well, welcome back, everybody. 10:30 the time on this Labor Day Monday. I'm going to get to your calls and texts on the Tigers and seeding in just a moment. I had mentioned earlier about the situation in Hattiesburg, just rumorville from what I was reading yesterday. And this was a tweet from Richard Cross, who's with the Ole Miss Radio Network and Sports Talk Mississippi, Super Talk Mississippi. He does a great job down there. Richard's just kind of relaying the information that he had seen on Twitter like myself. But he said he had heard for a few hours now that change may be coming with Southern Miss football. Both Big Gold Nation and To the Top Talk have reported they expect Jay Hopson will be out as head coach today. So, again, that's the rumor. Nothing yet. We'll talk to Barrett Salim more about that, but that's kind of weird.
I don't even understand that. Like, I don't, barring there being like they found something like there's a scandal of some kind or something. I can't even comprehend. Yes, it was a bad performance, but I can't imagine you would be firing him.
Well,
after one game.
I guess because Southern Miss is expected to make the playoffs this year, so the expectations are high in Hattiesburg. Let's get to your phone calls, 360-8255, First Bank phone lines. Front row Jay, who was at the game, joining us. Jay, how are you?
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good. So you've heard what we've been talking about. You were at the game.
Yeah.
You heard what Eli had to say. Give me your thoughts. First of all, tell me your experience, and then, if you can, give us what your take on what Eli had to say.
I mean, we got there probably about 30 minutes early. Zero traffic coming in, obviously. And we walked right in. We went to the certain gate where our ticket told us to go. Wasn't any problems. Everybody had masks on, so it was not an issue. Went right up to our seats. And if I say that there were 5 people in my entire area of seats, I may be overstating that. I thought it was kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. I'm all about people feeling safe and all this stuff during the pandemic. I'm not one to bash, people as far as what makes you feel safe. Everybody has their own opinions on these things. But 4,500 and 60,000 seat stadium, Greg, as I was texting you Saturday night, I mean, it's ridiculous. They could have had, honestly, they probably could have had 20,000 in there and would have been perfectly fine.
And I don't know what the total number of people who were
that
actually
number,
there
that
was.
Number that 20,000 number may be pushing it a little bit, but I think you could honestly do 15,000, and you would have no issues whatsoever.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's 25%. Like and that's the number that
Exactly
a lot
right.
of places are going with. And in that stadium, I think if you went up to 15,000, certainly 10, 12,000 at least, I don't think you're even going to notice. Like, I don't think if you put that many people in there and they actually, people separate the way they should, I don't think you would look at it and notice anything other. You'd be like, okay, yeah, I mean, this looks like a very small crowd, but people are very much separated, and it would be very easy to do that.
You could have thrown another 5,000 in there just in the tops and in the end zones, and it probably would have looked the same.
Yes, absolutely. The top of the stadium was
empty.
empty.
What it looked right now.
The top of the
100%.
stadium and behind the end zones were basically completely empty for that game. So you easily could throw those people and actually have people in those areas that don't move down, and you're not even going to notice it.
Yeah.
I have to tell last thing I'll say on this is some of these people that are like, well, this was the university's decision. No, it's not the university's decision.
Not at all.
I promise you. They had zero to do with only having 4,500 people there.
That's
the university wants as many people as they possibly can get into.
Of course.
That's the thing. Like, I can't imagine.
Unfortunately, right now, they're at the mercy of the Shelby County Health Department. And, I texted Greg a few minutes ago. What happens, honestly, what happens to the university if they just said, the heck with this, we're going to sell 15,000 tickets and 15,000 people show up?
They'd shut it down, man. Though remember, they don't own the stadium; it's city run, so
that's the problem.
Yeah, they would shut it down in a heartbeat. So it's just like if you don't make code in your restaurant, they shut you down. So yeah, it's a shame. But there's a lot of people making this decision. I mean, there's a lot of Indians. Maybe you need just the one chief, but the chief, I guess, still the last word is the Shelby County Health Department, and hopefully, Jay. They saw what was happening, and as long as we don't hear of anything bad here in the next few days to a week, maybe things will change. But
hey, Jay, what was it like if in the concourse or like the restrooms? Was any of that an issue whatsoever?
Empty.
Okay, that's what I figured.
I mean, in every other stall. Trust me, I can only speak for the men's bathroom, but every other urinal was covered with a black trash bag, so you could not use that one.
Yep.
So the only complaint that I had is that when there were probably 6 of us in there in the bathroom at one time, and I think there were 2 soap dispensers that had soap in them.
Yeah, that's just mid-season form.
You can't do that right now. You can't do that right now.
I know. Thank you, Jay.
You got to have soap in them. But hey, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, my friend. Yeah. I think it's not necessarily they're looking at the size of the stadium. They're just looking at in their county, in that particular state, what do the numbers say? And here's the number we're going to allow you to have. But I think you definitely have to take into consideration the venue, the size, the fact that it's obviously outdoor.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, why 12 feet? Why is it 12 feet? Why is that the number?
I don't know. I guess they figure maybe the tallest person in the world is 11 feet and a half, so they want to make sure that he can't stretch out or her stretch out to the other group. That's the number they come up with. I mean, I don't know why in a day and age where things are changing by the minute, for goodness sakes, that, again, if we don't hear any, oh, gosh, 500 people who attended the game on Saturday tested positive for COVID-19, if we don't hear anything negative, then I don't see why they can't really look at it again next week and decide we're going to go ahead and make it 6 feet. Now, if that's the case, then I wonder what happens with the university, which, of course, had their whole situation where they said they weren't going to have single-game ticket sales and then had the choices for the season ticket holders.
Everything is single-game ticket sales now for the season ticket holders that opted in.
Well, they're giving those tickets, right?
But it's on a per game basis. It's not like you've got your season tickets for the whole season. Like you're getting
I understand.
Everything is on a per game basis. So if they're allowed to have more fans, they're going to be able to give more. They're going to be able to do more tickets for that game.
No, I understand what they can do. I'm just saying what the process will be, because the only people right now that could actually be at the game are those that have either donated their money, right? It may only be those people. Or those, and I'm not sure if it's the people that have deferred to next year, like keep the money, but that will go for our tickets for next year. So people that got the reimbursement and all that, right now, if you couldn't buy a game ticket, right?
No, they're only available to the people who opted in, yes.
Exactly.
But there are plenty of people who opted in because they're only guaranteed 2 games right now for the season that you're going to have access to.
Yeah, but if you open it up to at least double, let's say they even go more toward, 12,000 people, then you have to open it up, I think, to even more than just people who gave the money from the ticket sales, from the ticket purchase this year to the university as a donation. But that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. That's a good problem to have because now you're looking at just, how to contact those people and tell them these tickets will be available and then have more people in there. That's a larger stream of revenue, more concessions. Everybody wins in that situation as long as there's not an outbreak. And that's the worry, right? It goes back to why we're in this situation now. The worry of people all gathering in one area to have this major outbreak. But again, your point is well taken, that there is so much room in that stadium. Look at the stadium itself and say, okay, I think we could put some more people in there. This isn't opening up Minglewood Hall or even FedEx Forum, which is indoor for one thing. This is a very cavernous, big, large, older stadium where I think, and by the way, the university and the folks at the stadium, Thomas Carey and those guys at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium did an outstanding job. They really did a nice job. So
they did what they're supposed to do, and can do. It's just, and that's what cracks me up, that there are actually people out there that think this is the university who's doing this. The university wants as many people as they could possibly get in that stadium because they want the money. That's just the bottom line. They're getting killed here financially by only having that number of people. So if you think this is the university's decision, you're out of your mind. The university,
nobody believes that.
If they changed it at halftime and said, actually, you know what, we look good, you guys can go to 6 feet, the university would have been calling people, begging them to come to the game. It's just the university wants as many people in there as they possibly can. And the city wants people in there because they're selling concessions and everything else.
Right.
This is the health department making up, in my opinion, a dumb 12-foot rule that is allowing them to only have 4,500 people in that stadium. it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know how many people were actually there. I don't know what the actual number of people that were there the other night was. I don't know what that is. But you can't tell me that in a 60,000 seat outdoor stadium you can't fit 10, 12, 15,000 people very comfortably and have everybody feel extremely safe about it.
Again, if you'd like to express your opinion on Saturday with the Tigers, first of all, their performance, what do you think about the W, and then also about the crowd and lack thereof, and should it be increased? You can certainly give that opinion to us here on the show. We are live today. It's a brand new show here on Labor Day, 360-8255. You can text in at 67129. So anytime throughout the show, if you want to comment on that, please do. When we come back, there's NFL we want to get into, and also the loss of a legend in Lou Brock. We will discuss that on the program as well. This Memphis Sports Fact is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Now, did you know with his 7 points on Saturday night, Memphis kicker Riley Patterson now has 358 career points, which ranks him 4th all-time. and at the University of Memphis. And now just 4 points behind D'Angelo Williams for third place on the all-time list, and only 11 behind Stephen Gostowski, now a member of the Tennessee Titans, for second on the all-time list. Number one on the list, friend of the show, Jake Elliott at 445 points. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. The website, gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648. Your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for over 23 years. Go in there and visit James, Linda, and the gang. Talk to them about that beautiful diamond you're looking for or any great piece of jewelry or watches. James is a master jeweler, certified appraiser, diamondologist, and graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. They have 2-bench jewelers ready to serve you each and every day if you need a cleaning or a fitting. James is a Christian Brothers High School graduate, a Memphian through and through. So if you're a wedding, engagement, and anniversary rings and other fine jewelry, let James Gaddis Jewelers be your choice. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. Website, gaddisjewelers.com. Call them at 901-767-9648. When we come back, Joe, Mike, you're first up. This is Sports 56 Middays.
R&R on Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1. Don't miss us.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in our world famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There are so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Gilman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx helps small businesses grow every day. This hour is also brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here in hour number 1. Talking Tigers football. They won their opener against Arkansas State. If you want to comment on the performance or about the small crowd at Liberty Bowl Stadium, the crowd that they were supposed to have by the mandate from the Shelby County Health Department, but can they get more people in? Should they have the opportunity to get more people in? So let's go back to the First Bank phone lines, and we'll start things off with Joe. Joe, how are you?
Guys, I'm good. First of all, I was at, I think it was the low point of the Tigers under the Porter era, that infamous Thursday night rainy East Carolina game where, let's face it, at least in this game, it was forced to be low. That was about 4,000 on our own volition showing up to that game. I'm all for, let's follow the health department guidelines and, keep it safe and all that. I agree with Eli that 12 feet does seem excessive, especially given that it's outdoors. I think there has to be some nuance. Like, this was the FedEx Forum, you're indoors. There's potential chance for more spread that way. You are in a giant stadium of 60,000, and 4,000 to 5,000 would constitute, 6 to 7%. And you got all these other schools that are doing about 25. I think there's room for more, maybe 10, maybe 15. I think it is a little conservative.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Really appreciate the phone call.
By the way, okay, so he brought that up, the East Carolina game. And I'm this is bothering me because I thought that East Carolina game that he's referring to was the Tuesday night game that was in Tommy West last year. And it was, everybody says Larry Porter, but I thought it was they played East Carolina on a Tuesday night in Tommy West last year. And did they not announce an attendance for that game at like 3,000 people?
Yes, if I remember correctly. My memory's not the best, man. I've done so many games. I've been there so many times, and they start to blend in. But I think there's something to that.
I look back on the Memphis football site to that game in 2009. They have the attendance as 31,756. I can't find the game, that East Carolina game. That is the only game they played East Carolina on a weeknight anywhere in that stretch of years. And on their thing, it says 31,000. I swear it was that game, and that they actually announced the announced attendance was like 3,000 people. But now that the box score says 31,000.
You know who you need to talk to? Stacy. He would know. The host of the Blue and Gray Show. He would know.
Because I was
text
looking
him. I guarantee he knows.
I was looking through that, and I was like, because I remembered being East Carolina and it being raining, and I knew it was a weeknight, and that is the only weeknight East Carolina game they had during those stretch of years. Yeah. And so I was like, well, it has to be that one. And then I pull up the box score, and it says 31,000 people. And I don't. At first, I thought maybe I misread it was 3,100, but no, it says 31,000 something.
Mike is next up. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I think they can get more people to games, but the 12-foot rule comes from when you're standing out there, even with the mask on, when you're cheering and hollering. They've done a study, and your saliva or spit will travel 12 feet towards somebody. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're worried about. And if you're in Kroger's or whatever, you're not there 3 or 4 hours behind somebody and, worried about, your saliva or spit. That's how the disease is traveling. I think they could get more people in games because, to be honest with you, people they're gonna move down. If I was an SEC fan going to games without a mask, I'd be kind of worried. One thing about the game that I didn't kind of like, I thought the offense got where it was kind of predictable, like run, pass. I thought they could have been a little bit more inventive. And one thing about the crowd, I don't know why they don't get section like people who have already had the disease, and they can sit as close as they want to and sell tickets to them.
Well, haven't they proven you can get it a second time? You can get it multiple times.
Well, you've got a medical thing. You get it from your doctor that you've had it. My brother's nephew has got it now. He's one of these long haulers. He's having heart palpitation. He's like 22 years old.
Oh, jeez.
And he's having problems again.
That's terrible.
They call them long haulers.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. By the way, with the 12-foot rule, and he's absolutely right, because that's what they gauge it to be, where you can still.
But then what? So the mask does no good. Then why are we wearing masks?
Right. Not only are we wearing masks, but also are they taking the wind direction and wind velocity into play here when they figure out 12 feet? Maybe with the wind, it goes 16 feet. A little bust of spit
then what the
coming
hell's
out
the
of your
purpose
mouth.
of the mask? Everybody tells me the mask is so important, and if it's still going 12 feet with the mask on, then the mask is doing no good.
Well, the other thing is you have to take the mask off to eat and drink, and when you're eating and drinking, you're moving your mouth, and spit can come out of your mouth while you're eating and drinking. I don't know. Look, we don't have all the answers. Like I said, now I think they believe that you can get it multiple times, but
I don't know. I don't know that they say it's 100% that you can't. I don't know. I've not heard of anybody who's had it twice.
Oh, well, my wife's told me, and she works in the medical field. She knows of people that have had it twice. Also, they took precautions on the sideline, and I don't know if this was the reason because of COVID-19, but they didn't have the tents where the players will go in for injuries before they have to, unfortunately, if they have to go to the locker room, they go to the locker room. But they have the Campbell Clinic health tents. I noticed that there wasn't the tent there, and I'm thinking that's COVID-19 related. The other thing is now the electronic whistle for the officials. So what they're doing is they're pressing a button as opposed to blowing into the whistle. And I assume that's because of sanitary COVID-19. They're wearing masks. Okay, so here's the thing. There was at least 3 plays where the whistle blew, but they couldn't hear the whistle, and so they ended up running the play. And God forbid, somebody can get hurt when that happens because you may have one player heard it, one player didn't, and he's running hard, and there's a collision. Also, what happens when the crowds start to be bigger? There's no way to hear that. But, again, they're doing everything. They've thought of everything to try to make it more safe for everybody. And again, if you want to comment, 360-8255 or text in at 67129.
Wayne texts in. He says, how can you trust the Shelby County Health Department when they report a woman who died in February tested positive in June? That's a good point. Come on, man. Another text was 100% they could put more people in the stands and still be okay for distance. Because, again, the thing is, there is no enforcement like of you're not 12 feet, you need to move or whatever. So those people all are migrating down in the stands anyway. So it ends up just being the top of the stadium is completely empty, and the bottom part of the stadium is people separated by 6 feet. So just put the extra people in there and do it at 6 feet because that's what everybody's going to do anyway.
Yeah, that's we wondered about that. What happens if people combine groups, and what if they move around? Who's there? Who's the police to
There's no way you can police that.
And then I mentioned with Steve Macy from the University of Memphis, who joins us every Tuesday. What happens if people aren't wearing their masks? They take them off, and then they don't put them back on. Who's policing that as well? By the way, Front Row Jay, who had just joined us, one of our listeners, says he saw the tents. I didn't see the tents from my vantage point. But again, my vantage point now is a lot different. I am used to roaming around, hanging around that tent, seeing who's hurt, reporting that, going from side to side to side. But I was in one little area. I had my mask on, I had my little yellow safety vest on, and I was in one area. So I had to depend a lot on the Jumbotron to get information. But again, it was a solid performance. Mike was talking about the offense, I guess, being a little bit predictable. Though they weren't predictable when they ran those 3. Here's the funny thing. On the one series, deep in their own zone, they ran 3 straight running plays, and they had a nice lead, and I thought, wow, they are going to be a little conservative here. And then Pete Lembo with Ryan Silverfield, they draw up the old fake punt, and JoJo Dorcius goes for 25, and he looked tremendous running the ball. Gabe, what about that? You want to talk about conservative? No, that was.
He used to play. He used to be a running back in high school.
He used
to be their Wildcat quarterback at Spring High School in Houston, Texas.
But wasn't that a big surprise? As deep as they were in their own zone.
Not with Pete Lembo, no. That's not a surprise.
It's one of those,
you sort of see that type of stuff coming from him.
That's what it's called. If that doesn't work, and all of a sudden Arkansas State punches it in, brave call in that situation.
It's easy to say, and you're right, Pete Lembo, who I love, the special teams coordinator for the Tigers, he still has to get the green light from the head coach.
100%.
And so that was gutsy on Ryan Silverfield's part to be able to call that, dial it up, and say, yeah, let's do that. As Eli said, if that fails, it's a real short field for Arkansas State, and they're back in the game.
But in regards to what Mike said about it getting predictable, I thought the same thing toward the end of the game when they had a lead. I believe it was basically 7. They got up by 20 at one point. At that point, it started to get very obvious what they were going to run, but I'll tell you from experience, and even Mike Norvell liked to do this, game 1, if you get a lead, you sit on it, and you get very conservative. You don't try to show your hand to the people you're going to be playing in weeks to come. And that's sort of a lot of head coaches at the college level like to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think overall, again, a pretty solid performance. You never sneeze at a 13-point win against a team that.
Well, you shouldn't be sneezing at all. Do not sneeze at all right now. Please do not sneeze. Do not sneeze. They'll get to 18 feet if we start sneezing.
Yeah. No, you're right. A pretty solid Arkansas State team. First game for both teams, so we saw the first game mistakes, but Memphis will, and I'm sure Arkansas State will as well, learn from that, get better. They have time now, Memphis, with a couple weeks before they play again. Week from this Friday, actually, against the Houston Cougars, and that will be Houston's first game of the year. There's going to be a lot of that. There's a lot of it in high school football. There's a lot of it going to happen in college football where a team has played a game or two and the other team hasn't played any game. And you would think that's got to be advantage for the team that's played. When we come back, we'll continue talking college football. Barrett Sallee will join us. Hour number 1 in the books. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hey everybody, John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show, brought to you by Wolf Chase Honda. Guess what? Football's back and so are we. The Blue and Gray Show now entering our 6th year. Drew Barrett and I have been doing this, and we're bringing you some of the best Tigers through history. We've had them all on our show, and we're going to continue to do that. And you never know who will show up on the Blue and Gray Show. That's the Blue and Gray Show, brought to you by Wolf Chase Honda, right here on Sports 56 and 87.7.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Picking up an online order? No problem. It'll just be a moment. You know, we've got more convenient ways to shop besides our same-day store pickup. You can also shop from your car with our free curbside pickup. Or you can even shop completely from home with our free next-day delivery. Just order by 10 p.m. on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Commitment, dedication, perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength, what we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help take your business to the next level. This hour is also brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It is definitely a labor of love for us here to bring you a brand new show on this Labor Day. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn. A little something we call Sports 56 Middays, and we thank you for all your calls and texts there in hour number 1. So folks out there listening to the program on this holiday Monday. Barrett Sallee joins us in just a moment. We'll continue talking college football. Again, we'll take your calls on the Tigers. We'll take your texts on the Tigers. But after Barrett, we're going to dive into some NFL and, of course, talk about the legend Lou Brock, who passed away yesterday at the age of 81. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered by our title and presenting sponsor, and that is FedEx. Make the most out of your e-commerce experience by finding insights and inspiration from other small business owners. Learn more at FedEx.com/e-commerce. And the second hour of the program brought to you by the Window Genie, a trusted name in window cleaning, but they do so much more. And I'm going to tell you about that holiday lighting that they're offering now. You can sign up early, get a great discount on it, and it's amazing what they do. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in the hour. But right now, it's time for Barrett.
It's time to talk some college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Barrett Sallee from CBSSports.com, CBS Sports HQ, and Sirius XM Radio. Now, here's Barrett with Greg and Eli.
He is Barrett Sallee. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. He's working Labor Day as well, and we appreciate that. Barrett, how are you?
I'm great, guys. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Before we dive into college football, so I want you to explain this to me. I saw your tweets with your son. It was fantastic. You went to the Braves game for his birthday. Were you actually did they actually have fans now, or was there some kind of party room? What's the deal now with the baseball fans?
Yeah, they let A-list season ticket holders, which I've had season tickets for a while now. They let them. You can reserve a table of 4 in the Chop House, which is the restaurant in right field. You can. They keep the front doors closed, so there's glass between you and the game. The back doors are open. You can kind of walk around a little bit of the concourse. They have some shops set up. So it's a reservations for table of 4, buffet included. You don't get to buy. You can pay for alcoholic drinks, but the kids can drink for free. So, it was cool. There's about 50 people in there per game. Only season ticket holders. So it's been a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool, especially when Freddie hit the grand slam. That place just erupted. So yeah, it was nice to be in Truist Park for a game for the only time probably all year.
Yeah,
that's cool. I did not realize they were doing that.
No,
that's cool.
I'm sure your son enjoyed that. I was just wondering. I said, Barrett's on tomorrow. I want to make sure I ask him because I didn't think they were allowing fans in the stadium unless that had changed that policy over the weekend. And then I figured it was going to be, if anything, it was going to be some kind of party room. It wasn't quite a party room, as you said, a chop house. But that's fantastic. So glad your son had a great time. So Barrett. This morning, and I haven't heard anything this morning, but yesterday, after one freaking game, all of a sudden there's rumors about Hobson being out in Hattiesburg at Southern Miss, but I haven't heard anything, like I said, yet today. The rumor mill was swirling, as you know, yesterday. What have you heard? Are they going to make a move after a game?
I can't imagine how you could sell that to the people above you, how a board of directors would take that, a board of regents or whatever, because especially at the group of five level, the financial mess that is going to come over the next few years it's going to be brutal. So unless they're just going to promote from within, not pay an awful lot, and go with that for a few years, I can't imagine how that makes a ton of sense. But I heard exactly what you did. I haven't heard anything today. I think it's probably just, generic pressure that is being put on him. But, beyond that, I just can't imagine how that makes sense and how any athletic director can make that sound like the best option to his bosses, which obviously is the board of directors.
Yeah, and barring like there was some, something that happened basically where you could fire him with cause. I don't see how you could do that after one game in the current situation we are in.
No, I can't either. And it was a bad game. They were 14.5-point favorites and lost, but at home. But yeah, that seems way too early and way too excessive considering the circumstances that we find ourselves in to make that the rational, reasonable decision.
I don't know what to expect from any of these games, to be honest with you, with the exception of maybe Memphis, because I know that team so well. But I picked Army, and I know Army's good, and I think it was, 2 years ago that they were really, really good. But wow, Middle Tennessee State, a donut, nothing, no resistance. Army just rolled over them.
It was bad. I mean, and the clock management by Stockstill at the end of the first half. I mean, that was I saw Les Miles in his heyday at LSU, and that was even worse than Les Miles.
Oh gosh!
It was brutal. So, yeah, I don't. Army's good, but that seems to me like is more indicative of program mismanagement than anything else, and if that's the case, I mean, it's one thing to be ill-prepared from a personnel standpoint. I think anybody would get that. It's not like it's desirable or anything, but I think everybody would understand, if there are some growing pains in terms of roster management. But this is Rick Stockstill. He's been there a while. He knows how to coach. And for him to have that kind of brain fart, I can't imagine how that's going to sit well with the athletics department. And I know, they expect probably more than people realize at Middle. And if that continues, I just can't imagine how he can explain that one away.
That's that is for sure. Yeah, it wasn't really for Conference USA, not a real good opening weekend.
No, not at all. In fact, looking at they released their players of the week this week, and basically it was South Alabama. The special teams player of the week was the Arkansas State kicker, which tells you all you need to know about how this season or this weekend went in the Sun Belt. It's a bad start, but you know what? I think we saw sloppy play. It happened. It's going to happen more this year, and I think it certainly is. You could tell that everybody was a little ill prepared going in. Really, all throughout the weekend across every team not named Army, which I mean, they looked like they were in mid-season form.
Yeah, that's you look at it and look back. I mean, from a betting perspective, like all of the big favorites failed to cover because you could probably expect it was just going to be a little bit sloppy. Teams weren't going to be sharp with a lack of preparation.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. And Marshall, I think the other one, I guess, because they look good. But you have to expect penalties. You have to expect personnel issues. You have to expect formation issues. That's just it is what it is this year, and there's not much you can do about it. But I think the teams that did come out firing, that should be talked about more, and those coaches should be complimented. I think maybe more than we are right now, because it takes a lot. Yeah, it took a lot to get ready for week one, considering all that's sort of happened in the world of college football this year.
Well, what is your analysis on Ryan Silverfield and his second game, technically, the Cotton Bowl, of course, being the first game when he took over from Mike Norvell, but this his first game as a head coach during the regular season and his first win, 37-24 over Arkansas State. Brady, why did you threw for 4 touchdown passes? How would you evaluate what the Tigers did?
I thought they looked great. Obviously, like you said, first real game. I think the Cotton Bowl, I don't say it didn't count, but I think that, it's hard to sort of, to take that and run with it if you're Silverfield. So, to have, it's kind of a two-headed monster at running back, a week and a day or 2 days after Gainwell decided to opt out. I mean, they looked sharp. They looked like they were ready to go, and they looked tougher. I don't know if, Memphis in the past to me, and you guys are obviously closer to it, but they always seemed like this a kind of finesse offense with, a one power element, just one, they had one running back and they had very few power elements, but they were there. It felt like they were more married to, a smash mouth spread style this year. And I think that suits what they have. That suits their personnel. And, Brady White to have that luxury and play off of that, he's going to do a lot more of what he did Saturday if that offense continues to do what it did. So I thought he had a really, really good debut.
What do you expect tonight with BYU Navy?
I think BYU is going to shut down that triple option, better than people realize. Because when you look at what they have, they've got all 4 of their linebackers returning, which is just huge against the triple option team. So just right out of the gate, I think that is something that you have to sort of take that jumps off the page. There's no Malcolm Perry for Navy. Dalen Morris, a senior, has not taken a ton of snaps and beat out Perry Olsen, who I guess was the presumed starter going into the season. And BYU has Zach Wilson, who was hit and miss last year, but was pretty darn solid. Now he doesn't have his top 3 receivers and, his top receiver last year, which was tight end Matt Bushman, who hurt his Achilles, I think, last week. So I do expect it to be a little sloppy offensively. If I was a gambling man, and you could go down to Tunica and place a bet, I'd probably place it on the under. Not just because of Navy controlling the clock, but also BYU. I expect to be a little sloppy, but it's a pick 'em -1 wherever you look, and I think BYU is going to win. I think it'll be a close game late. They'll both be in it in the fourth quarter. In the end, though, I trust Zach Wilson. I think BYU still has the players to get the job done. So it should be fun. I know a lot of folks aren't used to this type of game as the Labor Day night game. It has to be an ACC home game every single year, and usually you get a really good matchup on top of that. And it's not the headliner that a lot of people think or wanted or are used to, but I am excited about it. I think it'll be fun.
I'm with you. Barrett Salih joining us, college football writer for CBS Sports. You can watch him on TV at CBS Sports HQ and listen to him on Sirius XM College Radio. Over the weekend, as I was getting ready to work the Tigers game, the news came down about Tennessee and 44 players involved in one way or another, whether it be COVID-19 positive tests or the tracing, making sure that Jeremy Pruitt was going to be cautious with all these guys, decides to not have his scrimmage. He didn't have enough players. So what is the latest with Tennessee dealing with the COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, all of them are subject to, the protocols 10 days for people, who have tested positive, and they have to have 3 consecutive no symptom days. And that's not the majority. In fact, sounds like, 30 or, so maybe even up to 35 are due to contact tracing, which actually, keeps you off 14 days at least. And certain schools, have different policies on top of that. I don't know what Tennessee is right now, but I think this is it's good practice for what Tennessee's and every school is going to have to go through. There are going to be players who suddenly get it and have to sit out maybe at the last minute. So you're going to have these issues at quarter from a roster perspective. Pretty much throughout the year in some way, shape, or form. 44 seems like a pretty exorbitant number, but when you have 115 players. You can't practice with 44 guys out, but
right.
If you're in the low to mid 20s, you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's an NFL roster. So, I do think that when you see the number, it jumps off the people, freak out a little bit, and to the point that's okay. And 44 is one of the probably the biggest number that we've seen, but college football, just by virtue of the way it's formatted, has the ability to withstand roster losses like that.
I did find it interesting that the Big 12 came out with like their standards of what now, because we've always been like, okay, what will make somebody cancel the game? Well, at least now the Big 12 has explained some numbers like this is what you have to have, otherwise that game is not going to be played.
Yeah, and it's pretty similar to an NFL roster or what an NFL roster generally looks like, with 53-person minimum and certain stipulations on different positions, and that's not something that happens on NFL rosters with positions being specified, but it does sort of fall into the general pattern and the way that NFL rosters generally are managed. So I think that was the blueprint for it. I think it makes sense. And I think when you compound, COVID with injuries, there might be games postponed, but the number and getting down below that 53-person limit is going to be really hard to do.
Yeah.
Down in your neck of the woods, some big news here in the last week or so with Jamie Newman opting out from the University of Georgia, and he was the expected starter. What may that do to the situation with the Bulldogs trying to win a national championship?
Had JT Daniels not been injured still, and he hadn't been medically cleared, and it's been more than a calendar year since that happened. If he were medically cleared, I wouldn't say it was a big impact because I do think JT Daniels would have won the job over Jamie Newman. I just think that he fits more what Todd Monken wants to do. But, with JT out and DeJuan Mathis, while he has been incredibly impressive, never having really any experience at all and having the brain, cyst to overcome from 2 years ago, it's hard to trust Georgia. It just, with everything that's gone on, now with Dominic Blaylock out too, it's really, really hard to trust him. And honestly, I don't know what Jamie Newman's thought process was. If he got information from an agent, I do think it's bad information. Mm-hmm. But from what I've heard, it's not necessarily JT Daniels because he hasn't been cleared, but it's more of DeJuan Mathis really playing well. Because this kid, 6'4", came as a string bean, has put on some weight, and is, not to say he's as erratic as Felipe Franks, but he's that kind of player. Big arm, big kid, willing runner, and that to me is more likely than not, I think the reason that Jamie Newman sort of, made that decision in concert with whatever advice he had. So it is still hard to trust them, but I do think that they're more confident in their quarterback position maybe than they let on, because I think they figured that JT Daniels would take a little while to get healthy in fall camp. But the fact that DeJuan Mathis has been impressive is something that should maybe make Georgia feel better about the situation.
Barrett, with the ACC and Big 12 starting up this week, is there a team or a certain game that you're most curious to see?
I'm really interested in Notre Dame. I know Duke is not what Duke was. It is. I think last year was a down year, and they've kind of been a far cry from what they were when they went to the ACC championship game and when they played Texas A&M in that Peach Bowl back in 2013. But I think that Notre Dame has a pretty legit shot at the playoff, and so I want to see what that offensive line looks like. It's supposed to be really, really good and certainly experienced. They've got, I think, more running backs than people realize, and obviously Ian Book has established himself. And I want to see what that defense is. I'm excited to see what Chase Bryce does in that game, too. Obviously, people remember Chase Bryce for what he did 2 years ago against Syracuse, saving Clemson's season. And I think him and David Cutcliffe together, because I thought Chase Bryce when he was a sophomore in high school, way back when, and he was awesome. He's not this scrub that just, couldn't cut it and look for a soft landing spot. Him plus David Cutcliffe, it could be dangerous. So that game, to me, I'm just fascinated by it. I think Notre Dame in the ACC is going to be fun, and then watching Duke and how they respond from a down year is something that I'm excited about, especially considering Chase Bryce is eligible and ready to go.
Yeah, and officially named the starting quarterback today by David Cutcliffe. One more thing for Barrett Sallee. I know it was the weekend here, the last 2 days, but the soap opera still continued to broadcast over the weekend as the Big Ten turns, I guess would be the soap opera du jour. And now Jim Harbaugh out there with parents of some of the players protesting why the conference made the decision not to play football. It's never ending, this Big Ten deal, Barrett.
It's so dysfunctional. It's hard to make the Big 12 circa 2010 during the realignment phase look good. But the Big Ten's making that version of the Big 12 look good, which is, I didn't think that was possible. So I guess there's still hope. Maybe a small, maybe Lloyd Christmas. So you're telling me there's a chance, But I think above all else, the leadership, not just Kevin Warren, but the president, the way they've lost the confidence of their athletic department is really stunning, considering. Generally speaking, the Big Ten presidents and athletic directors are on the exact same page.
Yep. Man, oh, man. He is Barrett Sallee, college football writer for CBS Sports, television for CBS Sports HQ, and you can hear him on Sirius XM College Radio as well. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. Catch him every Monday right here on Middays during the college football season. Barrett, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the holiday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, y'all too.
Take care. You have some clarification on that East Carolina-Memphis game or not? I see that we got some, our friend Ray has texted us.
Well, yeah, it was the idea, and he said the same thing, that it was that game in 2009. It was the last year of Tommy West's tenure, which is what I thought it was, because it was the Tuesday night game. But I know for that game, they actually announced the crowd, because I remember being stunned, I can't believe they would announce an attendance that low. They announced it as 2,500 people.
I remember that.
I remember being in the press box, they announced it, and I was like, oh my gosh! I've never heard a team actually announce a number that low. Normally they would just announce something, you just announce your season ticket number or whatever. But now the box score on their website says 31,756 for that game.
Just a misprint.
So, did they go back and change that just to never, so that didn't look bad in the history of the thing? When you go back and look at it?
No, I think it was 31,000 season tickets sold, and they just had 2,000, 3,000 people show up.
Well, no, I understand that, but they announced it that night, the official attendance. I'll never forget.
I remember
it was 24 something, I believe, is what 2,400 something. And I remember thinking I can't believe, because that's when you knew Tommy was done. There's no chance he's keeping his job when you are going, because it's they're going out of their way to announce there's only 2,400 people at a game. He's done. There's no chance he can keep this job now.
Yeah, I would imagine that I was probably next to you in the press box and still doing coaches shows on television. I think I remember my memory's shot, but I remember being there when they announced a low number, and I remember you reacting that way. So I think that's when it was. And you're right. The writing was already on the wall for
But
Tommy.
suddenly the box score now says 31,000 people for that game.
Who knows?
So in history, if you don't remember it, you'll think, oh, there was a pretty good crowd there for a Tuesday night game against East Carolina. They had 31,000 people at a game on a Tuesday night. That's not bad.
Yeah, well, you go back and look at media guides and history books and things of that nature. Sometimes the history has been altered just a bit.
Somebody also texted in, and there was some confusion about this the other night. So it's curious as to how the Arkansas State fans were able to get tickets for the game at Memphis. Will Memphis be able to sell tickets to the game at SMU on October 3rd? Arkansas State got 400 tickets for this game. There was a ticket allotment for Arkansas State. I don't remember what the AAC is doing for conference games for visiting teams. I'll have to see if we can find that, because this is a non-conference game, so there's a difference between that and a conference game. I'll have to see if we could find what the AAC, if they've, I don't know if they've announced an exact policy on that or not, but this, yes, Arkansas State was allotted 400 tickets for this game.
Yeah, I talked to Steve Macy on the sideline yesterday, who will join us tomorrow, so he can answer any question that you have. We'll make sure we ask him tomorrow. But he said originally Arkansas State had asked for, I think, 5,000 or more tickets. Like, they were going to bring a lot of people from Jonesboro to that game. That game, with that weather, would have drew, what do you think, Eli?
Oh, it would have
opening day, 45 to 50,000.
Yeah, I think you could have with everything yesterday. I think you could have gotten that for that game.
Yeah, so that's it just adds to the the whole situation that you're very limited on the revenue from ticket sales because you were limited on the amount of people you can have in there when, no question, if there was not a pandemic going on with that beautiful weather last night or Saturday night, and it was terrific, they would have got 45 to 50,000 because Arkansas State would have had 5,000 to 8,000 people also that would have been at that game. All right, when we come back, if you want to call in, open lines, 360-8255, First Bank phone lines, First Bank text line 67129. Want to switch gears a bit, talk some NFL, talk about the situation yesterday with Novak Djokovic at the U.S. Open and the loss of a legend in Lou Brock. This is Sports 56 Middays.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
There's no better feeling than grilling out, and there's no better place than Ace to get the best grill for you and your family. We have the hottest grills from top brands like Big Green Egg, Traeger, and Weber. And since our stores are locally owned and we're committed to helping our neighbors, we'll also assemble and deliver your grill for free. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know their grills. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members through September 7th on grills and accessories $3.99 and up. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help take your business to the next level. This hour is also brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The NFL season begins on Thursday. Texans and the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs. And if this past weekend didn't feel like a little bit sports normalcy, then I'm sure next weekend will, or this upcoming weekend, with games all over the place in the NFL on Sunday, the Sunday night game, then the doubleheader on Monday with the Titans playing at Denver in the nightcap. But Thursday it all begins for the Texans and for the Chiefs. And we know about Patrick Mahomes' contract earlier this summer. Deshaun Watson over the weekend gets his deal, 4-year extension, $156 million, $39 million annually, $27 million signing bonus for the former Clemson Tiger.
Yeah, and he's been really good for the Texans since he's gotten there. Now, what has that gotten them as a team is the it's kind of the Dak Prescott thing. Okay, like he's put up some good numbers and all that, but what has that resulted in for the team? And so then you got to try and make the decision of how much you're going to pay that guy, because when you start paying them that much money, that's going to lose other players. If you haven't even been able to win big with that guy not making much money, how do you plan on winning big with that guy making 10 times what he's making right now?
So what should Dak make, in your opinion? What kind of contract should Dak get?
It doesn't matter what. I mean, it's what he's going to get. It's based on the market of starting quarterbacks. I wouldn't pay him what the market is for starting quarterbacks right now.
But Watson now is what, second to Mahomes? Second highest paid quarterback?
Yeah, I mean,
is that correct?
I don't. There's you could look at it as a per year thing. You could look at it as guaranteed money. I don't know. I don't know exactly what all the numbers are, and they both still have time left on the rookie deal before these extensions kick in too, so it's a little different as well.
Per year basis, Deshaun Watson's is second behind Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes doesn't even have, he's not even operating on that. It's $39 million a year right now for Deshaun Watson. That's second.
Gosh, that is absolutely unbelievable. And then Russell Wilson, I would imagine, is third. So the going rate now for a top-tier quarterback in the National Football League is just around $40 million a year, basically, when you think about it. My gosh.
Dak on the franchise tag this year is making $33 million, something like that. I mean,
right.
That's the average of the top 5 quarterbacks. So, he's...
But that's going to go up when he signs his deal.
If they sign him long-term, he will make probably more than that.
Right. It's around $40 million a year now.
To me is ridiculous to pay Dak Prescott that, but that's just me. I'm not Jerry Jones.
Well, I think even though I love Deshaun Watson, and you know me, I've talked about Deshaun Watson from his days at Clemson. I really like him. If it's the going rate, it's the going rate, but it seems like an awful lot. $39 million a year. When it kicks in with Deshaun Watson.
Again, the fact that that's the thing. He's been good, but what has that team done with Deshaun Watson with him not making much money? How do you plan on improving that by him making a bunch of money?
And also, this is the same team, we must remember, who just got rid of DeAndre Hopkins.
Exactly.
Who in the heck is Deshaun going to throw to in the meantime? Will Fuller? And is going to be his main guy?
Exactly. And they used to have Clowney, and now how much money are they paying Watt? So between guys with W's, the last names start with W, Watson and Watt, oh my gosh, what are they paying just those two guys per year? Right? And what are the results? As Eli said, what have been the results with the Texans? I know they had a pretty good year last year, but if you're not winning Super Bowls, you don't deserve that type of money, but that is the going rate. Speaking of quarterbacks, some quarterback news. The New England Patriots and Bill Belichick have announced that Cam Newton will be the starting quarterback. I don't think that surprises a lot of people. Meanwhile, I was right about Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is going to start opening game for Miami. We'll see how quickly Tua Tagovailoa, who they say is 100% healthy, we'll see how long it takes before he's in there at quarterback. But I didn't think they were going to throw him into the fire, so I thought Fitzpatrick would be the starter the opening week.
Yeah, not what I would have done, but I'm not the coach of the Dolphins either.
Also,
I'm not Jerry Jones, and I'm not Brian Flores.
And you don't even play one on radio. Speaking of quarterback, go ahead.
Would you have started Tua week one?
No,
yes.
I would not have.
Yes.
He's been saying he would,
All right.
and I said I wouldn't. Speaking of quarterbacks, the Dolphins released Josh Rosen, but the Buccaneers, according to reports, have signed him to the practice squad. So Josh Rosen can actually get some tutelage under one Tom Brady. Joshua Dobbs, the former Tennessee quarterback, was cut by, was it Jacksonville, who he was with? But he's going back to Pittsburgh.
I believe.
Was he with Jacksonville?
Jacksonville is correct. But
Okay.
I don't know. I think that sounds right.
He is returning to the Steelers, his second stint with the Steelers, who drafted him, and they cut Duck Hodges. They got rid of the Duck. So it will be Josh Dobbs, and then Josh McCown.
And Paxton Lynch.
And they cut Paxton Lynch. Absolutely, you're right. Paxton, you got to think that's it, right? For Paxton?
Yeah, if he can't make the practice squad there, or I mean, I have to believe that this is the end of his NFL career, which is just really surprising to me. I don't know if I thought he was going to be like this great NFL quarterback, but I didn't think that this is the way Paxton Lynch's NFL career would go, that basically he wouldn't have an NFL career.
Boy,
XFL.
I really like Paxton and his family. We've interviewed him so many times, whether it's the radio show or I did it my old TV show, and we're all rooting for the guy. But man, this is going to be looked at as one of the great busts. This is a first-round quarterback selected who just did not make it in Denver. Obviously, got a shot in Seattle, Pittsburgh, and I don't know who they've added to their practice squad. I'm not saying that he couldn't be added to the practice squad, but Paxton Lynch's career could be in jeopardy right now of being over.
Hey, time for a reinstallment of the XFL. Put him in there. Sign him. Rock.
If he has no more options in the NFL, it may very well happen. How about Josh McCown? He's now the Eagles' emergency quarterback. And with the way Carson Wentz gets hurt, you might as well have an emergency quarterback. So basically, this guy is going to sit at home? Is that what I read?
It's basically like he's gonna. They put him as practice, but he won't be like with them. He'll be in Texas, and he's just there. If the need arises, then he'll go join the team, I guess.
Yeah, he's 41 years of age. I think it was $12,000 a week for just sitting at home, being with his family. Just a little check will come in all the time. So that's a great gig if you can get it. Also, the Titans, who had just recently signed the former Tiger Steven Gostkowski, they win the Jadeveon Clowney sweepstakes. So it was the Saints who tried to trade for him, and according to what I read, the NFL nixed that.
Yeah, the Saints were trying to basically do a sign and trade situation. The NFL does not work that way, because the problem for the Saints is they didn't have the salary cap space they really needed to be able to get up to where they needed to get for him. So they were going to have a team, and they never said. I don't think they've ever disclosed the team, but basically a team sign him so that they could pay him a signing bonus. And then they would trade him to the Saints for like a second-round pick and maybe another player as well. And that's how the Saints could fit him under their cap and get him. But the NFL said no, because basically the other team would just be buying a draft pick, and they don't allow that to happen in the NFL.
Yeah, but anyway, with the Titans being able to get Jadeveon Clowney, with Derrick Henry re-signed, they have the quarterback they think can lead them, and he did last year, and Ryan Tannehill, which is a surprise to many. By the way, they did cut Trevor Siemian. The chances for the Titans, Gabe Kuhn, this year to make a run at the Super Bowl.
I mean, last year they're in the AFC Championship. I mean,
you got to think they've really strengthened themselves,
they've
right?
strengthened themselves. They've done a good job, but this is more or less the same team. Adding Jadeveon Clowney on it now. It's the exact same team. So I don't know. I think they have a lot of things they can lean on as far as the run game and defense goes. But it depends who you play, what the matchups are, everything like that. But I have to throw this out there. You say Jadeveon Clowney sweepstakes. Is that accurate? Is that a good way to define it? Given that no one, he's like, I want $22 million. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, buddy, you can walk.
Yeah, but at the right price, a lot of teams wanted him.
Yeah, he overpriced himself, but when it came down to it, Seattle still wanted him. Obviously, New Orleans wanted him. Tennessee wanted him. So to me, if there's multiple teams wanting you, there's you use that term sweepstakes is just a term that's been used before.
The Titans' whole thing is going to be they absolutely have to keep Tannehill healthy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because they are screwed if he goes down.
Like
they're done.
It's Logan Woodside, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Logan, who played in the Alliance.
They are, but and Tannehill, had some injury problems in Miami. Certainly, he had the great year last year once he came in there. But if he goes down, good night, Titans.
Also from the NFL, Adrian Peterson, not out of work for long. He said he wanted to continue his career after being released by the Redskins. The Detroit Lions have signed AP.
Yeah, gets to go back up to the old NFC North. Gets to play as Vikings a couple times a year. I'm not sure exactly what the Lions are doing, but whatever. I guess if they want Adrian Peterson, have Adrian Peterson.
Well, they got a name. They have a name now, so they can put down in their history books. We had the great Barry Sanders. We had Billy Sims, and of course we had Adrian Peterson.
Well, the funny thing about it, though, is like it's weird that the Lions signed Adrian Peterson to give him a chance to try and pass Barry Sanders on the career rushing list.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Wow, how about that?
What's he? I think he's like 1,000 behind.
I didn't know that.
It's like weird that hey, you still want a chance to play and pass Barry Sanders? We'll give you that chance.
We, the Detroit Lions, where Barry Sanders starred for all those years. By the way, Wednesday we will make our NFL picks. We'll make our predictions on Wednesday with the season starting on Thursday. Another tweet about...
He's 1,053 behind Sanders for fourth place.
I had no idea about that. Just switching gears back to what we've been talking about with Southern Miss, reading another tweet, and it says confusion has been expressed between players, parents, and boosters as to what the plan is moving forward. One source close to Southern Miss tells Big Gold Nation he's out tomorrow. So it was today, now it's tomorrow. Let's see if Big Gold Nation is going to be wrong completely, and they end up figuring out a way to keep Jay Hobson as the quarterback as the head coach at Southern Miss.
By the way, now I just thought about this. Maybe this is ingenious by the Lions, because they can now control Adrian Peterson. They just won't give him the ball. They're going to make sure that he doesn't pass Barry Sanders. They want to keep Barry Sanders in fourth place all the time. Like, if we sign Peterson and we don't ever play him, he's not going to get 1,000 yards to ever pass Barry Sanders.
It's like a mad scientist move, man. Just they're going to experiment with him on the bench. I don't know. Now, their normal star running back or starting running back is Kerryon Johnson, was hurt a lot last year, correct? Is he healthy?
I believe he's healthy going into
so maybe that will be the case. Not that they're strategically doing that, but that EP may have a tough time finding a way onto the field if they're happy with right now the running stable. And you would think that they go out and get the guy that they're not real happy. But again, when you don't have a lot of star power, you're Detroit. Even to have Adrian Peterson, there's still fans that absolutely love that guy. So you're bringing in a name towards the end of his career. Window Genie is the sponsor of the 11 o'clock hour, and they are a trusted name in window cleaning. They do so much more than that, though. But as far as the window cleaning is concerned, they clean interior, exterior windows with their streak-free guarantee. But I do want to tell you what they are offering now. Early specials on your holiday lighting. So Window Genie will customize your lighting. They'll talk with you about what you want for your holiday lighting. They'll install it. They'll maintain it. If there's anything wrong, they come out, they fix it. If the bulb goes out, whatever it takes, they do that. They maintain it, and then they'll store it away after the holidays. You can't beat that, folks. Now, if you call them and you have them installed by November 1st, you're going to get 15% off. So if you commit to this, you're getting 15% off. Call Kate Robertson for a free estimate, Window Genie 901-424-4100, and ask for the Sports 56 special. Let them take care of the holiday lighting for you.
So the Dolphins announced their captains. One of their captains is Bobby McCain.
Wow.
So who would have thought when they were coming out that in 2020, Paxton Lynch would be out of the NFL, Bobby McCain would be a captain of an NFL team?
Not too many people, but good for Bobby McCain. He was a stud at Memphis. I always like his kind of chip on a shoulder attitude. He's a fine player, and that's a nice little honor there for Bobby McCain. When we come back, Lou Brock, the legend, passes away. Any thoughts from Cardinals fans? We'd love to hear from you. We have the First Bank text line at 67129. And does the punishment fit the crime with Novak Djokovic? This is Sports 56 Middays.
Sports time on Sports 56 with Wallow and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help take your business to the next level. This hour is also brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
She got a roof and don't leak.
5 favorite songs coming up at 12:05. If you haven't gotten your list in, 67129, First Bank text line. Or if you're watching us live, you can message us at Sports56WHBQ with those lists on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. I know there's a few of our regulars that probably are not getting the chance today to listen with family and friends for Labor Day, just kicking back and relaxing, and that's fine. I know you'll be back on the train tomorrow, but if you are listening, get those lists in. The topic today is away. The word away needs to be in the title of your song. So just read here that a former guest of ours on the program has passed away, Mike Sexton.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sad. I am a big poker fan. I watch a lot of it, and I know Mike Sexton was part of the broadcasts for so many years and a great player in his own right. Hadn't been a a host over the last couple of years, but I didn't even know he was sick. So
yeah, he was battling prostate cancer.
Yeah, I had no idea.
72 years old.
Wow, sad. So Mike Sexton at 72. And then yesterday we got the news that I know is devastating to a lot of Cardinals fans, but Lou Brock had been sick for a while, and he passes away at the age of 81. One of the greats, a Hall of Famer with 3,023 career hits and 938 steals, a guy who began his career with the Chicago Cubs. And I was looking back yesterday, reading some stuff on Brock, and actually was pretty darn good with the Cubs. When I know this is one of the worst trades in baseball history, and I thought, well, maybe Lou just wasn't doing nothing early in his career, so they dealt him. No, he was really, really good, and they still dealt the guy, and the Cardinals were the beneficiary.
Yeah, it's I got to meet Lou Brock one time, my time in St. Louis. Everybody talks about just what a super nice guy he is or was, and yeah, obviously one of the greats in Cardinal history, greats of baseball history. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the great stolen base guys of all time. Had that record for a long time till Ricky Henderson passed him. But yeah, sad news for Cardinal Nation, and it was the Cardinals playing the Cubs this weekend and finishing that series today, and of course with that trade being so famous between those two teams, kind of perfect that they're playing a series at the time that he passes.
Yeah, they had the moment of silence when I guess yesterday, because the news had just come out. And Lou Brock, I remember as a kid when the Cardinals would play the Phillies, if Lou Brock got on base, which was often, he would turn that into a single into a double by stealing second base. He was quite the player and quite the ambassador, I'm told, for Cardinals Nation for all those years before he became ill. Monday is a day of press conferences, even on a holiday. The Titans today meeting the media, and Stephen Gostkowski meeting the media. Teresa Walker tweeting out that Gotti says, wait to see how he kicks off in Denver a week from tonight when asked about his leg strength. But he says, or Teresa says, that Gotti is very confident where he's coming at after the offseason hip surgery. So he feels like that strength is there. The Patriots decided to finally end their long relationship with him, and we'll see if the resurrected career of Stephen Gostkowski will benefit the Tennessee Titans in the long run. Also, Ryan Silverfield, his Monday presser after the Tigers' opening victory. A few things that he said. I mentioned this earlier. He said, we're a little bit dinged up after a shortened preseason. Nice to have a little time off, extra time to prepare for Houston. He said, after watching film, need to address 12 penalties. Starts with him addressing the stupid penalties at practice. So sometimes that practice leads to what happens in a game, so they will get better with that. But right now, certainly happy to have the time off and the extra time to prepare for Houston.
Yeah, again, I mean, I think from a coach's perspective, in a lot of ways it works out very well with all of the considerations of short preparation time, that you get to see your team in action in a game against a pretty decent opponent too, and then you get a week off in there to try and prepare for your next one when that's going to be a conference game. So the way this all works out, I think works out very well for them.
Also, as I teased after the last segment, the U.S. Open, which we haven't talked a lot about, and quite frankly, we don't talk a lot about tennis, especially after the event left Memphis. But the U.S. Open is going on. Week 2 is underway. And yesterday was an incident that defaulted Novak Djokovic, the number one player in the world, from the tournament. A guy who was probably on his way to win another major, and he sits only 3 behind Roger Federer for the number one on the all-time list for major winners. And what he did, if you did not see this video, folks, he was frustrated, and so he hit a ball back towards the wall where the linesperson stands and where the ball kids are, and he hit the linesperson, a female, smack in the throat, and ran over there and was apologetic and absolutely wasn't done on purpose, wasn't done with malice. He wasn't trying to hit this lady, but he was frustrated and did that, and so he had to default. That is the rule, and I'm glad that they didn't alter the rule or try to do something different because it was Novak Djokovic, one of the biggest names in tennis over the last, well, all time, let's be honest. But Eli, that is just terrible. You already don't have fans. You're trying to get the U.S. Open in. No Federer, no Nadal, and now Djokovic has to default.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, okay. I thought, because I just saw that he was defaulted for hitting a ball or hitting a line judge with a ball. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to see this. I thought I'm assuming like he did this on purpose. Like, did he? And then I watched the video and I was like, oh, well, he obviously wasn't doing it on purpose. I didn't realize that was like basically just the hard set rule. Like, if you do that, like you're out. There's obviously. He shouldn't be hitting a ball like that towards that back wall, so I guess I can understand that, but it's just weird to do something like that accidentally, and that costs you to be defaulted from the tournament. Like, I don't know, that was weird, but I don't know much about tennis and the rules of tennis as far as that is concerned, so the tennis people say that's the right decision. I'll go with their thoughts on that.
So my son and I were driving home from golf yesterday, and I looked on my phone and I saw like the little headlines on ESPN, and it said Djokovic defaults after hitting linesperson. So and I hadn't read the story yet, and I told my son, "Oh my gosh, Djokovic must have punched out a linesperson," because I'm not thinking like that he's just knocking a ball back there and hitting the person accidentally. I'm thinking he ran over and was mad at something and hit somebody. I go, "Oh my gosh!" And then I go back and I watch the story on ESPN. And I see it and I go, okay, that's bad, but does the punishment fit the crime? Out of the tournament. Well, I applaud. Now, you can argue whether or not that should be a rule, but I applaud the officials because they kept the rule in place. They didn't alter it because he is a superstar in the world of tennis. But it's interesting that you can just dress down the chair ump, you can dress that person down, rip them apart. They'll give you a penalty. They'll take away a point. But usually you're not ejected. We've seen from McEnroe to Serena Williams to everybody do that. But you accidentally flip out a ball, and the woman, I guess, had no idea. Was obviously, or she would have moved or flinched, and she got hit right in the throat. But that's the automatic default. But you could just go in there and berate the chair ump.
And they also, they said, I guess they can't go like watch video of the thing happening. Like that's not, so they can't go back and like review it to see maybe what kind of intent or what he was doing. Like they said, they could not go look at the video of it. They just had to make the ruling.
Yeah, and again, I give them credit because they stuck with the rule that is in place. You can argue the rule, but it is in place. Coming up in hour number 3, we got our 5 favorite songs. Then we'll get into the NBA playoffs. We haven't even talked about that yet. The upset at the Kentucky Derby, the Tour Championship, and Dustin Johnson crushing the field. It's all coming up. Hour 3 of Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
I'm Siniqua Martin Green, and when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, our world changed forever. This experience made me so passionate about spreading awareness of treatment options, including clinical trials. I'm joining Stand Up to Cancer to get information to those who have been diagnosed with cancer and their loved ones. Clinical trials introduce new hope for patients, providing access to cutting-edge new treatments. Talk to your doctor to see if a clinical trial may be the best choice for you or a loved one. To learn more, visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials today.
Furnished by Stand Up to Cancer.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 833-8-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, A cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me for Sidelines Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1 FM. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, recruiting. Hey, if they keep score, we're covering it. Check us out on the website at sports56whbq.com and sidelines.live. Sidelines is brought to you by Duncan Williams Asset Management. Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. Get up and give us a call.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
Commitment, dedication, perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength, what we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. This hour is also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This song, A Touch of Grey by Grateful Dead, is so appropriate for something I want to tell you about in just a second. This line especially. I will survive. We hope we'll survive. Welcome back. Third hour of the program. Happy Labor Day to you. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn. Coming up, we got our 5 favorite songs. Again, the topic today is Away. If you haven't gotten your list in, what are you waiting for? 67129. You can text in on the First Bank text line. If you are watching us live, you can message us with the lists at Sports56 WHBQ. On Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. We are in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, and that is FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help you take your business to the next level. And the third hour of the program is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at 5143 Quince Road. Right next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes. Your neighborhood Ace in East Memphis for convenience, service, knowledge, and price. Online at acehardware.com. Free shipping. Take advantage of that. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7. Sunday, 10 to 4. You can call them at 901-683-8688. I saw this tweet from Dennis Dodd, friend of the show, Eli, CBSSports.com. This is a quote from Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner. So Dennis Dodd tweets out, Bob Bowlesby just now, quote, "The scientists we've talked to have told us to expect for this to extend into 2 years regarding the virus." So I go back to the song from the Grateful Dead, Touch of Grey, I Will Survive. Will we survive? 2 years? No, please no. Please no.
I mean, again, everybody believes that we will have a vaccine, at some point here, but we don't know when that's coming, and what else is making it go away.
There are some that believe it will come by Election Day, but I'm not so sure.
Well, there's a lot of people that believe Election Day will be a vaccine in itself.
All right. And one other thing, before we have a little fun with our 5 favorite songs, we were talking about Novak Djokovic. The New York Post headline, Novak Djokovic's excessive punishment is terrible for the U.S. Open. And then also, Serena acted like a sore loser. So they're showing Serena going crazy on the chair ump, which is, again, the point I made, not singling her out, because it's been done so many times by so many players where they berate the chair ump and they don't get tossed. But most of the time, it'll happen after the match. But sometimes during the match that they'll do it. They may lose a point, may even lose a game. But Djokovic, while frustrated, not doing it purposely, hit the woman in the throat, gone. It is the rule, and I say because it is the rule, they needed to stick by the rule. It wasn't a different outcome for a Djokovic as opposed to a nobody. But I'm not so sure if the punishment fits the crime. Time now for our 5 favorite songs.
Five favorite songs.
All right, Away, that was the topic that you came up with on Friday, and I don't know if this is one that our listeners helped us out with, gave us a suggestion, but this was a good one. Really good one.
Yeah, this was really solid, Mike. I'm not, I don't know if it was like the best as far as overall depth goes, but I believe this might be my favorite top 5. If you just take the
really?
5 top songs, this might be my best one I've ever had.
Yeah, I saw depth, but I saw quality, absolutely deep in as far as quality songs. Gabe, what did you think?
I thought it was really good. This is different, though. I don't know if you guys will be – I don't think I'll have any repeats from any of your guys' lists.
I asked Eli last night. I texted him. I said, can you use, like, Runaway? Because the word's away. He says, yes, you can use that. And after looking at all the possibilities, I didn't even have to go in that direction. But you can certainly, folks, if you want to go in that direction, Runaway or Away.
Any of the same songs as us?
So maybe one, but maybe a different artist.
All right.
I thought there was one on my list that you absolutely would have on your list. Well, we shall see.
Well, I guess we'll check.
Let's find out. You're going to lead us off.
I'm
today,
leading
Gabe.
off.
Yep, and then Eli, and then I'll bring up the rear here.
So let's start with Logic, Fade Away. Fade Away by Logic, really good song off of, I believe, his debut album. 4, Fire Away by Chris Stapleton. Nothing? All right.
Okay.
3.
That one I did not put on my list.
But it was
very
around.
close to my list.
It was
yes.
it was in the conversation. 3, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Give It Away.
Mm-hmm.
2, I went Drift Away, Uncle Cracker.
I mean, that's blasphemy.
I was not.
Dobie Gray?
Yes.
I was not familiar with the Dobie Gray version. Isn't that wild?
You thought this was an Uncle Cracker
Yeah, I thought
song.
it was an Uncle Cracker song.
Is this the first mention of Uncle Cracker since we started doing this?
No, we had him.
We've had him on before?
Another
Okay.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, we had him.
Uncle Cracker came up.
He was on a list. Somebody's he's been. What? I don't remember what song, but I do remember Uncle Cracker being discussed before.
But this right here is my number 1 song.
Turn around, see myself in the mirror, I guess I'm cool. And those happy thoughts in my head, I'm feeling like I'm Peter Pan. Minus the tights and the furries, happy to see how far I've come to the same place. It began in my dreams, imagination, perfectly at peace. So I move along a bit higher. I'll be up and away, cause they gon' judge me anyway. So whatever, I'll be up and away, cause in the end they'll judge me anyway. So whatever.
Up and Away by Kid Cudi. He's come up a few times on this one.
Kid Cudi
on the top 5.
You know what I
songs.
thought that was
That's Jay
singing?
Cutler, right? Kid Cudi?
No,
it's
not.
You know what it sounded like?
I thought that was what Jay Cutler was doing these days.
I never heard this song before, and you didn't say the author of the song, the singer, so I thought it was the guy from Smash Mouth. You know who I'm talking about? Smash Mouth.
I know who Smash Mouth is. I don't know who from Smash Mouth you're talking about.
The singer, the lead singer. It sounded like the Smash Mouth guy. So, all right. So your list, I almost had one that was on your list. Got a lot of consideration with Red Hot Chili Peppers, but did not make my list. But Eli's second.
All right. Number 5, On the Turning Away, Pink Floyd. Number 4, Give It Away, George Strait. Number 3, I've had this one as number 1 before on another list. Over the Hills and Far Away, Led Zeppelin. And then number 2, my number 2 I thought was one, Gabe, I thought you've had this on a list before. That's why I thought you might have it on this one. As She's Walking Away by Zach Brown Band with Alan Jackson. Did you have that on a list before?
I had it on a list, but no, it was outside of my top 5 on this.
Okay,
Away was a good category.
Oh, no, it was
really good.
There's no doubt. It was a good
really
category. Good. And then my number 1, no, it's not Uncle Kracker.
Day after day, I'm more confused. Yet I look for the light through the pouring rain. You know that's a game that I hate to lose. And I'm feeling the strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the Beach Boys and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away.
Yes.
Oh, give me the Beach
Dobie
Boys
Gray
and free my soul.
with Drift Away, my number 1. Great.
This is a really good cover of that Uncle Kracker song.
Oh, that's a great song. I love that song.
All right, we're gonna make history. Have we ever had a time where we didn't match any songs? Because I can tell you right now, my 5 is going to be different than both of you guys. We had the song by 2 different artists with Drift Away, but that's it. We did not match.
Does that count? Does that count as a matching song?
No,
well,
that does not
it
count.
doesn't.
Not in Eli's mind with Uncle Kracker.
Well, it's the same song.
I see. Eli's just talking down on Uncle Kracker. He knows he's okay with Uncle Kracker. If Uncle Kracker song comes on,
no, I will actually say that Uncle Kracker, it's a fine. I don't.
It's a fine version.
Yeah, I don't hate it. He did a good cover of the Dobie Gray. I prefer the Dobie Gray, but he did a very good cover of it.
Is there a cover that you prefer more than an original song? That's something we got to chew on.
There probably are a few,
some because there are some where like I don't even know that I probably don't know that somebody else did it originally. There's a lot of those. I guarantee there's a lot of those where I don't even know the person who did it originally.
All right, so I am shocked that there's a song on my list. In fact, my number 1, I'm shocked it's not on Eli's list. So it just tells you the strength of this category. Give It Away, Red Hot Chili Peppers was close, and so was, no, they didn't make it, and so was Dobie Gray's song. But I got 5 different songs, and I'm very happy with my list. Number 5 is Look Away by Chicago. Number 4, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away by the Beatles. Number 3, Come Sail Away by Styx, which I thought could easily be number 1 until I realized these other 2 songs. Number 2, Dance the Night Away by Van Halen. And here is my number 1.
12 hours out of Mackinac City, stopped at a bar to have a brew. Met a girl and we had a few drinks, and I told her what I decided to do. She looked out the window a long, long moment, then she looked into my eyes. She didn't have to say a thing. I knew what she was thinking. Roll me away, won't you roll me away tonight?
The great Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band with Roll Me Away, and I thought that would absolutely be on your list, Eli.
Well, I love that. I mean, I love Bob Seger. Bob Seger is great. It really came down to between that and On the Turning Away by Pink Floyd. And it really came down to the fact that I've had Bob Seger on a lot of other lists. I haven't had Pink Floyd on many lists, so I went Pink Floyd. But because I love both those songs. I love On the Turning Away from Pink Floyd as well. I love that song. But I went Pink Floyd just because I hadn't had many Pink Floyd on lists.
Yeah, you had Floyd and you had Zeppelin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I know your taste pretty well, but I'm still shocked. But I understand you didn't want to have too many Bob Segers. But man, that is a That Bob Seger song just fires me up. And I'm telling you, Come Sail Away and Dance the Night Away are two amazing songs from my younger years.
Come
and
Sail
either
Away
one
came very close to that. That was in the my top 10 for sure.
Yeah, so it was a really good topic.
And I didn't even I didn't even look at like Runaway. Like I wanted to stay just in the away because like I've had Runaway by Del Shannon before. I love that song. That's
It's a great song.
One of my favorite like classic old songs, like the 50s and 60s music. It's like one of my favorite songs. But I was like, I'm not even going to consider those. I'm only going to use the word away by itself because if I start throwing in Runaway, it's going to cause me too many problems.
Well, I didn't think I would have this many quality songs with Away. So when the first thing that came to mind was Runaway, or the Runaway song by Bon Jovi too. But Del Shannon's Runaway is fantastic. So I texted Eli and he said, you can include it. I said, fantastic. Then I started to look at the Away songs. I'm like, oh my gosh, what quality and quantity. So
and the Fire Wave that you had by Stapleton, Gabe, that's a really good song too that I really would have liked to have had on my list. But man, yeah, I tell you, like this top 5, I would like every one of these songs I absolutely like love. Like I could listen to any one of these songs at any time and be very happy.
All right, what again? I know we're limited a bit because it is a holiday today, but I'm sure we've got some Facebook mentions and also some texts and tweets about the 5 favorite songs. So what do we got from our listeners?
All right, Carolyn at number 5, As She's Walking Away, which was on my list. Number 4, One Number Away by Luke Combs. Number 3, Away From You by Queen Naija.
Queen Naija?
Naija.
Never heard of them. Heard of Queen and Queensryche.
Number 2, Up and Away, Fifth Dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, she says Drift Away. She goes Uncle Cracker and Dobie Gray. So she is neutral. She will take either. She's fine with either one of those.
And they're so alike, Uncle Cracker and Dobie Gray. So it's hard to differentiate.
Zed, number 5, Skate Away, Dire Straits. Number 4, Slip Sliding Away, Paul Simon. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Until I Fall Away, Gin Blossoms. Number 2, Take My Breath Away, Berlin. It's another one that I like.
You like that song?
Top Gun soundtrack, man.
Yeah, I just don't dig that song, though.
No, it's just the Top Gun portion of it is the perfect.
I like Berlin, though. Not the country, the actual group.
Number 1 from Zed, Ain't It Funny How Time Slips Away.
Wait, city, not country. Berlin's a city in Germany.
By Al Green and Lyle Lovett. I'm not familiar with that song. Bobby in Midtown, number 5, The KKK Took My Baby Away by the Ramones.
Wow.
Okay. Number 4, Not Fade Away by the Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Hideaway by Freddie King. Number 2, Walk Away by the James Gang. And number 1, My Baby Gives It Away by Pete Townsend and Ronnie Lane. Maybe my favorite song ever, Bobby says.
Wow. Peter Townsend from The Who. And who else?
Ronnie Lane.
Ronnie Lane. I don't know. Remember, Denny Lane was with somebody. Ronnie Lane. I don't know.
Ray in Cordova with an honorable mention for Slip Sliding Away by Paul Simon and Throwing It All Away by Genesis.
A good song. That's a good one.
Number 5, Walk Away, Kelly Clarkson. Look at Ray coming with some Kelly Clarkson.
See, I thought Ray would come with Celine Dion. She doesn't have a song in this category, but he comes back with Kelly Clarkson.
No, because you're the one that comes with Celine Dion.
No.
You did have Celine Dion.
I know.
Gabe, did Greg have Celine Dion?
I can confirm.
Yes,
I can confirm.
Because I believe you did as well that day.
You had it for the Titanic song. What was it? Heart Goes On.
Yes.
My Heart Goes On.
Yeah.
I mentioned it.
You had it on your list.
5.
100% you had it on your list.
Okay, I have nothing against Celine Dion, though, and I have nothing
There's
against Kelly
nothing
Clarkson.
wrong with My Heart Goes On by Celine. Come on.
No, there's
Come
not.
on.
And
Let's
Kelly
be clear.
and
My
I
Heart
actually,
Will Go On.
Will Go On,
yes.
Goes On.
But Kelly Clarkson's really good.
Yeah, if you're gonna have her, at least get the name of her song.
The Titanic song. That's what I know
That's
it
what
as.
I said. Being the Titanic, My Heart Will Go On. Kelly Clarkson's terrific, though.
I got nothing against Celine Dion at all. I mean, I wouldn't have put her on a top 5 list of that category you guys did, but I don't have anything against her. Number 4, Every Time You Go Away by Paul Young.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Dance the Night Away, Van Halen. Number 2, Take My Breath Away. And number 1, Come Sail Away.
Okay.
Let's see here. Another list. Oh, by the way, somebody says Ronnie Lane was the bass player for the Small Faces. For the Small Faces and Faces. Huh?
I've heard Faces. Yeah, I've heard Faces. I'm gonna look that up.
He was the
right
bassist for the Faces. When they went to the races.
Oh, gosh.
This one doesn't have a name on here.
Yeah, English rock band formed in 1969 by members of Small Faces after lead singer guitarist Steve Marriott left the group to form Humble Pie. There you go. There's a little history.
So there was a band called Small Faces, then another one called just Faces.
Oh, my gosh.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so
the member of Faces included Rod Stewart, Ronnie Wood, the aforementioned Ronnie Lane, Kenny Jones, wow, and some other guys I never heard of, but probably are superstars. I just don't know who they are.
They went from Small Faces to Faces, or Faces to Small Faces?
No, the other way. They became Faces, right?
They were Small Faces and then became Faces?
Yeah, members of Small Faces.
They got bigger? They've got regular faces?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't remember now.
I didn't understand what the text meant now I understand it. I didn't realize it was two different bands. I thought the name of the band was either Small Faces and Faces, or he was saying it was a small band called Faces and Faces.
So they became Faces. They took members of Small Faces, and they took members of,
and made them bigger.
Yes, and they made them bigger.
Made them into regular size Faces.
And he was the bassist with Faces.
He was the bassist for the Faces at the races. Let's see here. Number 5, Far Away Eyes, the Rolling Stones. Number 4, Over the Hills and Far Away, Led Zeppelin. Number 3, The KKK, Took My Baby Away by the Ramones. Number 2, Walk Away by the James Gang. And number 1, Fade Away, Bruce Springsteen. With an honorable mention from They're Coming to Take Me Away, Aha. Napoleon the 14th.
Yes.
And
Coming to Take Me Away,
And Dance the Night Away by Van Halen, also getting an honorable mention from that person there. Bobby here on Facebook, before we get to his list, he says Uncle Cracker has a duet of Drift Away with Dobie Gray.
Oh, really?
I did not know that. I did not know they did it together. They ended up they united.
So that's the one Carolyn's talking about, I'm sure. Instead of one of the others, she's probably talking about the duet.
Bobby's list, number 5, Come Sail Away. Number 4, Fire Away. Number 3, As She's Walking Away. Number 2, Give It Away. And number 1, Drift Away. So Bobby has 3 of my top 4 on his list.
Yeah, and Give It Away is the George Strait Give It Away.
Yes, the good one. Honorable mention, Far Away Places by Lawrence Welk. I figure you knew Lawrence Welk had to have an away song like that. That's got to be up his alley.
I'm happy we got a Welk in on the holiday. No Binger and no Tori Amos, but we're good.
Somebody says Small Faces' big hit was Itchy Coo Park. Sure.
Okay, sir.
I'll believe you. I'll agree for the win. I'll agree.
Any more?
That is it.
Okay. Tomorrow, the topic will be beat. B-E-A-T. Beat.
So I can't, it's not B-E-E-T, won't qualify. I can't, there might be songs about beets out there.
Yeah, if there's a song about the vegetable beet. I will accept that.
Okay, so B-E-E-T does work. Okay.
We'll let you go beat. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of songs about beets, B-E-E-T. I think the Stones had one. Zeppelin did one. But 5 favorite songs.
I'd write a song about beets.
5 favorite songs tomorrow is beat. When we come back, let's get into the NBA, the latest with the NBA playoffs, and some surprises. We'll also talk about the upset at the Kentucky Derby and the latest with the Tour Championship, where Dustin Johnson has been mowing down the competitors. This is Sports 56 Middays.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
It's buyback days. Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you pay a big repair bill on your existing heating and air conditioning system this year? Is your energy-guzzling heating and air conditioning system on its last leg and you think it's worth nothing? Good news, it's buyback days at Conway Services. We'll buy back your repair this year up to $1,500 toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. That's right, we'll buy back your repair up to $1,500 even if we didn't do the repair. Just show us the receipt from another company and we'll buy back the repair. If you didn't have a repair bill this year, we'll give you up to a $1,500 trade-in for that old energy-guzzling system toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. When air conditioning systems get older and inefficient, the cost of repairs and high utility costs can almost pay for a new system. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company today, and the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. This hour is also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome. She was terminally pretty.
Final half hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn. Tomorrow, Connor O'Gara will make his season debut with us, talking SEC and all things college football. Steve Macy will join us from the University of Memphis. Again, 5 favorite songs tomorrow. Beat is the topic. We'll have Humdinger's Trivia, 2.5 questions, some other surprises on the program tomorrow. The Tour Championship is wrapping up today. They are underway, although the leaders in the top of the leaderboard won't go off for a while now. Probably another, probably in the next 30 minutes. Everybody will be playing in the final round at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta. The weather is 81 degrees, 2% chance of precipitation. Winds are 2 miles per hour with gusts of 5. It's like perfect day to score, although it's an extremely tough course. It's interesting with the playoffs, Eli. We had the event in Boston, which was a joke. We had the event in Chicago, which was like the U.S. Open. And this one's kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, which, again, I think is set up I love the way they actually have this set up. I'm not sure they do it on purpose.
No,
to
exactly.
That way, but I love the way this has played out over the 3 weeks. I think it's perfect.
So DJ at 19 under goes into his round today, the final round, with a 5-stroke lead over Justin Thomas and Xander Schauffele. John Rahm, another stroke back at 13. Then Colin Morikawa at 12 is 7 back. I think that it's probably too far for everybody being 5 or more. But I would say, in reality, if Dustin slips up a bit, shoots 71, there's a chance for Thomas and Schauffele and Rahm, maybe Morikawa. But this is, if I have this correct, this wraps up the season. Next week is the Safeway, and that begins the new 2020-21 season. But then there's the U.S. Open in 2 weeks and the Masters in November. From a player of the year standpoint, do they wait until the Open and the PGA Championship, or is it after today?
I am not sure exactly how I assume it's after this because this is the end of the season, and those were part of next season. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how they're going to approach that.
All right, so obviously if Morikawa makes a comeback and wins, he's the player of the year, having won the only major. The Open Championship was canceled, and they played the PGA out in San Francisco, and he won, out-dueling Dustin Johnson. But I would assume any DJ winning or even DJ losing to any of the other guys, Rahm or Schauffele or Thomas, is it still going to be DJ? Could Thomas win it? What are your thoughts about the player of the year?
I would expect DJ to be the player of the year, yeah.
So even
especially
if he doesn't
wins, I mean,
except if he loses to Morikawa. I think Morikawa is the only guy that can win the player of the year.
The bunker shot by Morikawa yesterday was maybe the most ridiculous golf shot I've ever seen.
I know.
Life. Like you cannot make that shot. Now, and obviously he doesn't think he's going to make it either. But like the idea that you've got a ball embedded in the face of a bunker, most people would never even get it out of the bunker, let alone on the green, and he makes it. It's just incredible.
Yeah, just saying these guys are good like the whole campaign is ridiculous anymore. And announcers who I really appreciate, the golf announcers, they all do a good job. But stop saying this shot is impossible. It says it's an impossible 2-putt. There's no way he's getting up and down. They all do it. Like, how many times have you seen in this tournament where a golfer has short-sided themselves in a deep rough and they go, they're not going to be able to control it because there's no spin coming out and they'll go down the hill. And they just, like, nice and soft, they just pop it up and put it right down there within 3, 4, 5 feet. Guys they're so good. It's a pleasure to watch. But today is the final round, and it's already underway. But Dustin Johnson in command.
And it looks like I will win my lunch bet with Jay Hasselman.
What was that one again?
Harris English versus Mark Leishman just for the weekend, not what the head start was. And the funny thing is Leishman actually beat English by 4 shots in round 1. I got worried, but then Leishman realized he's Mark Leishman. And I think coming into today, I had a 5-stroke lead on him coming into today's round. So I'm gonna win my lunch bet.
The Kentucky Derby, a stunner with Authentic going wire to wire to knock off Tiz the Law. There will not be a Triple Crown winner. Of course, they're going in a weird order with the Belmont, the Derby, and the Preakness still to come. But we had Jay Pridman on Friday, and correct me if I'm wrong. He talked up Authentic. And he had Authentic, I think, to finish second to Tiz the Law. And then the horses that finished 3rd and 4th, I think he also talked up. So I wonder how he did.
No, he had Honor AP. He was the one he thought had second. He actually didn't put Authentic necessarily up there.
Oh, really?
He said Authentic certainly had a chance, but he put he had Honor AP as the one he thought would be the biggest challenger to Tiz the Law.
Oh, I thought he had Honor AP
but he did have
3rd.
The 9 horse that came in 3rd. Was one of his when we talked about some of the longer shots. That was one of the horses he said absolutely he would include in some of the exotic bets.
And with the win by Authentic, that gives Bob Baffert his 6th Kentucky Derby. And then afterwards, in the winner's circle, I don't know what the hell was going on with Authentic. Baffert gets knocked down. Another dude got knocked down. Luckily, nobody was injured.
Perfect 2020. Just when you think everything's good, you just won a horse race, you get knocked right back down on your butt just to make you realize this is still 2020, baby. Don't think things
mess
are
with
good.
2020.
Do not think things are good at any time. Do not get comfortable because you'll get knocked right back on your rear end one more time.
When is the Preakness?
October sometime, isn't it?
Early October?
It is October 3rd.
Yeah. Okay. And again, there's not much significance because there's not a Triple Crown threat with Tiz the Law losing, but that will probably be Tiz the Law or Authentic going for Horse of the Year, I would imagine. I would assume both will be in that race, but you never know. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Las Vegas Golden Knights lost to Dallas yesterday 1-0 as the Western Conference Finals get underway. And in the East, it's the Islanders and Tampa Bay. Game 1 today. Tampa Bay's been waiting around for a while. And the reason I bring that up is just not a lot of people talk about how it has worked with the bubble with hockey. We always talk about the NBA. But they've put the two bubbles together up in Canada. We haven't heard word one about a positive COVID-19 test or anything that has been an issue with hockey. So good for them. All right, now the NBA. And today we have game number 5 between Toronto and Boston and game number 3 between the Clippers and Denver. Let's start off, though, with the Bucks, who played yesterday. The Bucks down 3 games to love, the number 1 seed in the East, about to get swept. Miami playing just incredible basketball led by Jimmy Butler. Giannis Antetokounmpo was a possibility that he could have missed the game. So he's playing. Second quarter, he gets hurts his ankle. So you think, that's it, they're done. Milwaukee is done. And then Miami makes a big run. They go up. Here comes Milwaukee, not giving up. Chris Middleton goes for 36, 8 and 8. They got a good game from Eric Bledsoe. Brook Lopez was really good. And in the end, they pull it off. They're not going to win the series, I don't believe, but they staved off elimination, your favorite thing to say. It's 3-1 Miami. I don't know what the situation will be for the Greek Freak if he can come back tomorrow. But that's a lot of balls right there. I give them a lot of credit for not quitting.
Yeah, that would have been very easy at that point to just, think, all right, well, we've been in the bubble long enough. Let's get the heck out of here, get back home, get back to some little bit of normal life. But, I give them a lot of credit for getting up and finding a way to pull out a win and not get swept. Yeah, I don't think they're going to win the series. Don't see them winning 4 in a row. Certainly they're capable of that, especially if the Greek Freak is able to go, but I don't know what his condition is going to be. But yeah, that was an impressive performance to have a little pride and show some pride there in winning that game.
Yeah, I really loved seeing that. And Chris Middleton, who had been maligned at times in the series, to step up the way he did. And I don't know who it was on the broadcast team said if Giannis does come back, and Giannis wanted to be taped up and come back into the game, and Budenholzer said no. But if he does play in Game 5, the Chris Middleton, I understand he's the number 2. He's the Robin to Giannis, who's the Batman. But he doesn't need to defer all the time. He has to take charge. And you get that type of Chris Middleton with a Giannis. That's why you were the number 1 seed going in. That's why you had the best record. So we'll see, but that's a tall task to be able to rally and win 4 straight. In the meantime, the other Eastern Conference semifinal, as I said, Game 5 today, scheduled for 5:30 tonight on TNT. Boston and Toronto. Boston a 1.5-point favorite. I wondered when it came down to that 3-point last-second shot for Toronto in Game 3, OG Anunoby, who made that, if that was going to be the big change now. All of a sudden, Toronto was going to play off of that and make it a series because Boston was in total control. What did they do? They went out in Game 4, and they looked really good. They looked like Toronto. And the series is now even at 2. So this is a pivotal game today, Game 5.
Yeah, obviously a huge game here. And if Toronto comes back and wins this series, I mean, that shot goes down as one of the, especially if they were to end up going on and winning a championship, then that shot becomes that much more legendary. I mean, if that shot doesn't go in, this series is over. You're not coming back from 3-0 down.
Right.
Now you've got a chance, and if they go on to win this, I mean, that's one of the historic shots. It maybe, I guess it's the shot of the bubble so far.
It is the shot of the bubble. But yes, if they can come back and win that thing, that was the defining moment. There's no question about it. Out west, LA Clippers, Denver Nuggets, Game 3 today. And then tomorrow, the Lakers and the Rockets game 3. I gave the Rockets and the Nuggets 1 win in the series. Well, I've used it up already because Denver went out and won game 1, and Houston went out and won game 1. And now the series is even.
Denver won game 2.
Sorry, yeah, I knew it wasn't right. So Denver won game 2 after the Clippers clocked them in game 1. That's correct. But that's it. I mean, I had 1 game. Is it going to be like I think, or is there going to be competition here down to the wire with the Rockets and Lakers and the Clippers and Nuggets?
I give both of them a lot of credit. I didn't, especially Denver for game 2. I just thought the 7-game series would have taken it all out of both of these teams, and they wouldn't have anything left. And Denver looked that way in game 1. I'm amazed they were able to come back and win game 2 in that series. And then the Rockets, they looked really good in game 1 last night. After falling down early, and you're thinking, okay, well, that's kind of catching up with them. Then they came back, had the lead at times in the fourth quarter before the Lakers finally were able to kind of put it away a little bit. LeBron kind of took over, and Anthony Davis was really, really good. But, man, the Rockets, I don't know, even with Russell Westbrook, again, terrible last night, and they still had a great chance to win the game.
Yeah, Russell has had some struggles. And look, in game number, I'm trying to remember all this. In game 1, Harden, Westbrook, and Gordon were all good. And when those guys are all good, even as small as they are, going up against Anthony Davis and a bigger team, they have a chance, and they look great. But when Russell Westbrook is just running around with his head cut off and looks the way he did in game 2, they have no chance. As much as Harden wants to step up, and we know about playoff Harden, even though he had a great first game, Harden doesn't have that track record. You need Russell Westbrook to be that leader, and if he's out there just chucking it around and playing horrible, there's no opportunity. There's no chance. I still think the Lakers end up winning this thing in 5. But
obviously the Lakers lost game 1 against who did they play in the first round?
Lakers lost to, beat
Blazers.
Yeah.
And then they won the next 4. Certainly they could. But you look at last night, the Rockets starting 5, other than Russell Westbrook, the other 4 guys all had a positive plus-minus in that game. But Westbrook, when he was out there, was just detrimental to everything.
He was.
Because the Lakers, their starting 5, other than LeBron, all had a negative plus-minus. So the starting lineups, for the most part, the Rockets had the advantage. But LeBron was a plus 15. Russell Westbrook was a minus 14 as the oddballs of those starting 5s. Yeah. And Anthony Davis had 34 points, 10 rebounds, but he was a minus 7 when he was on the floor.
Yeah, people were tweeting out that the best player for the Lakers last night was Russell Westbrook.
And I'll tell you who, Rajon Rondo was good. He was. Rondo was a plus 28 in 28 minutes.
Because Rondo is a proven entity in the postseason. He's a good leader. He doesn't try to do too much. He knows his position, what he has to do to lead a team. He's a good floor general out there. And, yeah, you get that kind of Rondo, you're in pretty good shape. Now, the other series with the Clippers and the Nuggets, and that's one because the Clippers had that rest, and I thought they would dominate this series. But Nuggets are solid. When Jamal Murray's making shots, which is most often – you have a fighter's chance, and then you have Jokic in the middle. But Jokic is questionable for Game 3, and if Nikola Jokic is unable to go, I don't give him a prayer. That's more for Michael Porter, who's been really impressive. More time for him on the floor, but I don't. I think the Clippers, with their physicality, will kind of beat down on them. And then, of course, you have a star in Kawhi Leonard. You have some great shooters and great offensive players. So, again, I'm going to stick to my guns. I only had the I only had the Rockets and the Nuggets winning 1, and the Lakers and Clippers winning those series in 5. I'm going to stick with it. Probably be wrong, but I'm going to stick with it.
Okay. you go ahead and stick with it. Fleet Feet, the place to go. That's a good place to stick with it. If you're looking for running gear, you got to get shoes just right for you. Well, go see the folks at Fleet Feet. They will get you into either one of the two stores. They are in East Memphis, Laurelwood Shopping Center, out in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to the Hueys. You're going into either one of the two locations. They will take a look at the way you run or walk, kind of where you put the pressure in different places on your foot as you're walking or running, and then they will fit you with shoes just right for you based on the way you run or walk. And that makes you be able to stay healthy, avoid injuries, other problems when you're out there running or walking. Really, you want to have shoes just right for you. That the folks at Fleet Feet do that for you. Plus all your other gear, they've got that as well at either one of those two locations. Go by and see them at Fleet Feet.
A few more things to get to in our final segment, then we'll put a wrap on the Monday edition, the Labor Day edition of Middays right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Golfers, are you looking to play like a pro without traveling the world? Just come to Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue. Golf and Games has the Top Tracer range system. Top Tracer gathers all your golfing data, distance, carry, ball speed, and more. Or choose a virtual course like Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, and Spyglass. Bring your friends and family to transform and enhance the range experience for golfers and non-golfers alike. Plus, it's fun. Top Tracer range at Golf and Games, 5484 Summer Avenue. Play like a pro.
Save now on your 2021 swimming pool at Family Leisure. Buy now at 2020 pricing and save your spot for the first installation of 2021. Patio furniture 20 to 30% off. Play gyms in stock. Beat the heat with an indoor game table or slate pool table. Pool toys and floats up to 30% off. Family Leisure, Whit Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Where family and fun come together.
It's Mattress Firm's Labor Day sale. Hurry in and save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 or more. And save up to 50% on select mattresses from our top-rated brands, like Sealy and more. Shop in-store, online, or by phone today. Don't wait. Only at Mattress Firm's Labor Day sale. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. Some products only available online. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. This hour is also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It feels good to have discussed a lot of different sports today because a lot of different sports are in action. It was a busy weekend, first one in a long, long time. One thing we haven't even touched on is baseball. And Mike Trout had a pretty monumental moment. He hit his 300th home run. He's only 29 years old. Hit his 300th home run for the Halos. and that makes him number one on the all-time list for the club. Tim Salmon with 299. Trout entered the game with 201 career stolen bases, so now he's the fastest in the history of Major League Baseball, to amass 300 homers and 200 stolen bases in his career. He did it in his 1,235th game. Willie Mays did it in 1,295 games.
Yeah, it's really amazing to do that, because the stolen base really isn't a part of baseball anymore. So to be the fastest to do that, it's pretty darn impressive. You mentioned all the sports. Here's another one. Wayne texts in, says, I had to mention the obvious cheating in the Tour de France. I saw on TV when a support car would come alongside a rider to give food or water, the rider would hang on to the driver's handle or a bottle would be towed along for 5 to 10 seconds.
Really?
Am I the only one to notice that? You probably are, because I think you're the only one that was watching the Tour de France.
Exactly.
I had no idea the Tour de France was going on right now.
I had no idea. No idea. And when we get to my one final thing, I had no idea that this was on the schedule as well. This event was on the schedule, but Tour de France, I thought they canceled that thing.
I did. I literally had no clue that they were actually. Hell, I thought they got rid of that race a long time ago. Didn't even know they were still doing it.
Who was that? Who texted in?
Wayne.
So, man, congratulations for watching the Tour de France.
No, not congratulations. What the hell, Wayne? Find something to do. I know there's you can't do a whole lot when there's a pandemic going on, but by golly, you got a lot of TV channels to choose from. Don't watch the Tour de France.
Wayne will update us on the Iditarod if that is taking place. Speaking of TV, I've been hooked on Cobra Kai. Have you watched Cobra Kai?
I have not watched Cobra Kai yet. I've heard a lot about it, and I've wanted to do it, but I just haven't gotten into it.
All right, one other baseball note. Did you happen to see the Nats played the Braves in Atlanta, and general manager Mike Rizzo was tossed for yelling at umpires from a luxury suite?
Yeah, it was a weird situation. No shock that Joe West is involved here. They actually thought at first he was kicking him out because he wasn't wearing a mask, but that was not the case. West had said that they had already been in communication with Major League Baseball and saying that if he had kept doing it, they were going to put a stop to it. And then he kept doing it apparently, and so Joe West had him ejected from the game. Where is
Something's never changed.
Here's the quote.
Joe West.
This is Joe West. I wouldn't take that from a player. I wouldn't take that from a manager. If it was Donald Trump, I'd eject him too, but I'd still vote for him.
Really? He said that?
That was his quote after the game. So, yeah, up there just barking away, and Joe West will have none of that. You will not be yelling at me from up in your little suite. That would have been funny if they would have kicked him out for not wearing a mask. I'm not sure if the umpires have that power or not. I don't know if the umpires could be like, hey, that guy's not wearing a mask. We need to get him ejected from the stadium.
Hey, look, bubble or not, whatever the sport is, I think people are getting a little slap happy now. Again, tonight it is Navy and BYU, little Monday night college football, and then Thursday the NFL season begins with the Texans and the Chiefs. Gabe?
By the way, what a bizarre quote from Joe West. Why'd you bring up the president and who you're voting for? No one asked. But it's just
Joe
like
West.
It was bizarre, but yeah.
Like,
you
where'd that
expect
come
those
from?
things from Joe. Well, you know.
It's Joe West. Who knows? He's an idiot, and he still believes fans pay money to
watch him.
And he's probably really sad that the fans cannot be at games to watch him this year. I bet that's it's really hurting him that those fans are not able to see him in action at games in person.
They come to watch Joe and Angel Hernandez. Is he still umpiring?
Oh yes, Angel's doing the Cubs Cardinal series right now.
Yeah.
Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
So we're kidding around with Wayne, who gave us the update on the Tour de France. I had no idea that the French Open was rescheduled. I thought they canceled it, like they did with the Open Championship in golf. Canceled. They'll go back next year and have it, and nothing's going to be rescheduled this year. So I was surprised to read about this, that the French Open is happening. It's taking place later this month, starting on September 27th in Paris, and spectators will be allowed to watch tennis at the French Open. However, not as many as the organizers had hoped. In accordance with the latest government guidelines capping attendance to 5,000 people in regions like Paris, the Federation has scaled down its plans. They were hoping that it would be 50 to 60% of capacity, the equivalent of about 20,000 fans per day. And Roland Garros will be divided into 3 zones based on the 3 main courts with 5,000 people each for the different zones. So they're going to have quite a few people, but not as many as they thought, Eli, which brings us full circle back to our discussion earlier about Memphis, the 12-foot, the 6-foot, the 4,500 or so fans as opposed to what you think should be in that stadium.
So they'll have more fans than Memphis can at the Liberty Bowl.
Yes. Yes.
That makes sense.
Oh, outdoors, but again, it's a tennis stadium. It's a pretty big tennis stadium, but nothing compared to a 60,000 seat cavernous stadium outdoor like Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium.
I mentioned the Cubs-Cardinals. They've got their 5th game of their series coming up later today as the Cardinals have won 3 of the first 4 because the Cubs are terrible. One of the bright spots for the Cubs this year has been Jason Hayward, who has been very, very good, but weird situation last night. He left the game last night. They said he had lightheadedness and shortness of breath. So they sent him to the hospital. He had a bunch of tests done last night. David Ross today updated, said he is feeling better. However, they still have to do more tests to figure out what is wrong with him. But Ross said that the Cubs still have not had any positive COVID tests. So I'm assuming it is not COVID that is causing this problem with Jason Hayward, but just lightheaded and shortness of breath for whatever reason. And I don't know if I guess he's still in the hospital today having more tests done. So very strange situation. They said it was happened after his first at bat last night that he started saying he felt lightheaded, and so they ended up pulling him from the game and sending him to the hospital.
I think this is an appropriate quote to leave today. We'll leave on this quote by Navy head coach Ken Niumatalolo. Again, Navy tonight taking on BYU. Quote, "There's no better places for creating a bubble than the service academies. Our schools are surrounded by gates and guards with machine guns. So if you want to shoot down the virus, we got all the guns that are necessary." Big thanks to Barrett Salih for joining us on the program today. Tomorrow, back into the college football state of mind, talking with Connor O'Gara, who was so fantastic last year. We got him on for another year. He'll join us every Tuesday starting tomorrow at 10:25. We'll get his thoughts on not only the SEC, but all college football. Steve Macy at 11:25, and we'll have him answer some of those questions that you have concerning the Memphis Tigers football game. Steve will be on at 11:25. We'll have Humdinger's trivia, 2.5 questions. And don't forget, 5 favorite songs tomorrow. The topic is Beat. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. It is coming up next, so stay tuned for that. For Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day, everybody.
It's all going to pot. Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thank